Just want to check the sound quality. Yeah, sounds good. I'm waiting for Netaneb, who will give us a lesson on advanced Medu Neter grammar rules. If you can hear me, Brother Netaneb, I have actually sent the link for the panel in the same email. So if there's any issue whatsoever, let me know. But we're waiting on our brother. Hope you're doing well, brothers and sisters. I have uploaded a video showing the ram-headed deity Imen that we mostly call Amen or Amun in English. And this artifact was filmed at the Louvre Museum, Paris, France. But as you can see from the reference, it comes from one of those museums in Berlin, Germany. It was kindly not gifted, but given for a short period of time for the duration of this Kush exhibit, Pharaohs of the Two Lands. That's how they call that's the title of the exhibit about those Kushite rulers. And like I have said, there are some artifacts from Chicago, from New York, from London, from Sudan, from Denmark, from France as well. But the interesting thing is that there are some artifacts from the Louvre Museum, but that are not usually on display. We try to send an email to our brother Ned because is that the right one here? Yes, that's the right one. So if I do that with this one, and then who knows? Maybe something came up and it's not able to do it, but we'll see. I've sent an email, so hopefully okay. Now let me check. Yes, so email has been sent. Let's wait and see. In the meantime, feel free if you want to participate. If you have questions or comments, feel free. What's on your mind, brothers and sisters? What's good? For those who come lurking, you will be sadly disappointed if you're looking for drama. Most of the stuff that needed to be stated on my part have been stated. It's on you guys to get real. Oh my goodness. I have the most shy audience. It's all good. We have the warriors. We have the soldiers. We have the people ready for revolution, but they will not show their face. That's too much asked. The warrior Christians will show their face. The warrior Muslims will show their face. The warrior Hebrew Israelites will show their face. The Scientologists will show their face. The Buddhists will show their face. The Hindus will show their face. But the most hardcore, thorough, revolutionary brothers What down for change? No, they won't show their face. Hey, what's up? How you doing, Anthony Harris? I'm waiting on Medu Neter, but maybe he will not come. Sometimes something comes up and you cannot make it. It's supposed to be 3 p.m. in New York. Yes, indeed, 3 p.m. EST. Feel free to say what's on your mind, brothers and sisters. Take advantage. Take advantage. There was a time when I was live streaming on a very regular basis. And then I will have quite some participation in the chat. And I used to flow a lot. If you want me to flow, then give me something to flow about. For those who don't know and who are interested in learning the Medu Neter, well, I've been giving classes for quite some time, so feel free to holler at me, and you will see me actually addressing that more often, more regularly. I'm seeking volunteers to learn the Medu Neter. So we will have more people familiar with that ancient, beautiful language, therefore being more familiar with the culture. Kemet is a beautiful culture. Nobody's perfect. So people have the right to choose. And for a long time, we had people trying to deter black folks. Oh, our brother Netherlands is here. Trying to deter black folks from getting into Quebec. And they have many reasons, a lot of motives. Let me introduce you to our brother Neter Neb. Hey, I caught you eating. All right, our brother's getting ready, and he will holler at us. So let it be known, our brother has arrived. Hey, we have Claudia Barton who wrote, "Hey, the Jebel Barker Mountain you showed Dr. Ben addressed that location, I believe, is also discussed in Black Genesis by Boval." Now, Napta Playa, okay, I'm not familiar with Napta Playa. I don't know if Napta is another way of saying Napata, but yeah, that mountain has some significance, you know. It was nice to see artifacts from Khartoum in Sudan, you know. It was nice to see different artifacts from New York and from Berlin. I haven't been to any of the museums in Germany, you know. So get ready, brothers and sisters. Just like Dr. Brother Reggie, Brother name told me that he would like to share some information. I told him that's all good. you doing, brother Ned?
I'm doing okay. How you doing today?
I'm chilling. Yesterday, I went to the Kush exhibit in the Louvre Museum. So
Wow.
they have some artifacts from Khartoum, Sudan,
Mm.
from Germany, some from Denmark, some
Hmm.
from Chicago, some from New
Hmm.
York, and it was lovely, to have all of this in the same place.
Wow. I can't wait to see those pictures. Or
Yeah, I've uploaded one video already,
okay,
and like on a daily basis, as usual, I would upload some more.
please do.
Oh yes, I mean that's what I've been doing for years. So
That's excellent. I'm happy to see scholars like yourself examining primaries and letting it be seen.
mm, yeah, it's lovely. I love that. I mean, every time I get in a new museum, it's like a child in a candy store.
Right.
I really love it. Just sharing it and discovering in real time, reading in
Mm.
real time, and
Hmm.
it's
Yeah.
nice. We have Ice Cold and Rock Hard, who wrote Kemet was a beautiful culture. Drop the link. Well, not yet for the link. We'll have to let our brother do his presentation, and then if he's okay with taking callers, then I will drop the link. But for those who don't know, whoever wants to get on the panel must show their face. That's the way it is here. So, brother, are you ready to share this information?
Yeah. First, I would like to thank you, man, for letting me come on your platform to discuss advanced grammar. Um, I say advanced grammar because just the variables makes it advanced. Uh, Looking at it just one way is impossible in Medu Neter grammar. We all know this. Sometimes they leave out glyphs and things of that nature. People don't know that there's different types of grammatical determinatives. It's not just a determinative, and they have to be present. Determinatives don't have to be present. According to Medu Neter grammar, they appear, they don't appear, but we as scholars of Medu Neter, we must know the grammar operation so we can not depend on a determinative. You can't depend on a determinative all the time. You have to look in the context, the grammar. You may even have to go to, like the brother here has, Brother Shaka, he goes to a museum and he looks at these texts, the ones that we can have access to. We ain't gonna have access to all of them, but with the brother doing we're going, that's how you see the grammar firsthand, or you get a duplicate, or et cetera, et cetera. So the thing about advanced grammar is that these things can be ambiguous also. Like for example, the pronouns in Medu Neter is strange because the suffix pronouns are actually ambiguous. They can be used interchangeably with each other. It's this is the advanced part of grammar that's beyond the basic, where you think things are uh, set in stone with grammar. So I'm gonna show you a conversation that I had with Brother Asaram Hotep on a linguistic panel.
Of course, feel free.
I showed this was recorded on a actual linguistic panel, uh 2000, in the year 2018. All right.
All right.
And I would like all of y'all to just go here when we done here today. Just go to that video and study it and see point for point who why did all of these scholars who peer reviewed that agree with Netranet, why did they do statements saying they agree with all of operations I said? Because it's grammar. You can't do magical Medu Neter when it comes to grammar. You got to look at the grammar. If it's in grammar, that's what it is. If it's in Coptic grammar, that's what it is. I don't do no hocus pocus. Oh, the grammar is not correct. No, not the grammar, but I don't make these illogical questions of, is it black? I don't do that. I just say they describe themselves as black. Why? Because it's a adjective modifier. They also use a collective form in grammar. A collective form is what? A feminine singular. collective. That's what collective forms are in. So this is Egyptological grammar rules that I obey. I don't get into that's why they don't come near me. I don't get into the what ifs and assumes. The grammar says it. That's what it is. So we're going to look at just a video where I show and explain some grammar, advanced grammar back then on a BB2Me platform. Then we're going to go into the scholars who reviewed, the experts who reviewed this debate, and we're going to weigh on their views of my work, etc., dealing with grammar. This is only a grammar lesson. So let me go here real quick.
All right. Yes, brothers and sisters, sometimes the scribes will take liberties. Maybe that's not the right expression, but the spelling will not be exactly the same in order to save space, And some words that you might have heard very often, Ankh Uja Seneb, you will find the Ankh, but the Uja Seneb, you will find abbreviations, But it's nothing very, very difficult,
Yeah, sometimes it is difficult because it's not just spacing. See, this is what I mean by, that's why this is a advanced grammar lesson, because again, you see how you explain that basically that's basic grammar, or anybody that takes basic Medu Neter know that spacing, sometimes the spacing, it's called graphic transposition is the correct name, which you're explaining. It's called, and you go to Gartner Grammar or any type of grammar book by James P. Allen, they call it graphic transposition. Graphic transposition is just not spacing. When you go to the actual grammar books, it say in some cases it is spacing. We have to be very detailed with words when we deal with languages. So it says in some cases that it deals with spacing, etc., abbreviations, like you said, correct, but also unknown cases. See, that's the advanced part. The unknown cases of the grammar that we don't know why they're doing it. See? So what scholars do is they then look into related languages to assist them with, in that case, it would be Coptic. The Coptic, Champollion, when he had trouble, he went into the Coptic to assist him with what he's reading because of all of these variables and variations. There's so many variables, variations, etc. It's not just spacing, it's because of variation of speech, it's because of cases unknown, cases known, spacing. This is the advanced grammar. Basics, you learn that, it's basic graphic transposition, but when you start to look into what is graphic transposition exactly, it begins to explain the different elements of graphic transposition. So this is my point of, now we want to know different elements of adjectives. We know that they are adjectives in Medu Neter. Now we want to know, how are they functioning? How are they operating within the context to describe an individual? Grammar. Now you see Asar, Hotep, and Neter and Neb here. This is a BB2Me in 2018. We had a reviewers reviewing this, and this was the name of his stuff. All right, so y'all can go here. I'm not going to play it so long. It's of course 4 hours. So we're going to just go to my part and just see the title, and we're going to listen to me explain back then advanced grammar. Watch this. And my title was Assumptions versus Grammar Rules. Assumptions versus grammar rules. Why did I say that in this debate? The purpose was because it was said that what Dr. Jope assumed. People actually said that Dr. Jope assumed. Can y'all believe this? You see that? He assumed? Are we sure that he assumed? Or we're just assuming he assumed? So I gave on my first slide a definition of an assumption. The definition of assumption is a thing that is accepted as true or a certain to happen without proof. What is grammar? Is the set of structural rules governing the compositions of clauses, phrases, and words in any given natural language. The term refers also to the study of such rules, and this field includes phonology, morphology, and syntax, often complemented by phonetics, semantics, and pragmatics. Y'all get my point. Now y'all getting that Genève now. So when you start talking about Dr. Job assuming, now you got to prove that evidence, not Genève. I already know, and everybody that is pretty much in the know about Dr. Job's work is that he was called to do this because of his qualifications in linguistics as a scientist, as one of the top African scientists on the planet at that time. His qualifications, bar none, is just straight up magnificent. And his skill in comparing African languages and the grammar of Egyptian. He knew the grammar. He went to UNESCO and he said that it was a collective noun. And he said it was purely on, if we want to go purely on a grammatical plane. So when Osiris laid out his foundations, just give me y'all a little history. Hold on. I highlighted
breathe. Feel that? That's your body, baby.
And feel free to make to go on full screen mode.
Okay, sure. Thanks for that. All these promotions, but
there's so many.
So I discussed my linguistic background. Let's go on full screen mode here. This is 2018. Y'all can review this. I'm gonna share the link. So I'll share my linguistic background. This is me and Osiris on a linguistic platform, y'all. Can y'all believe this? And he said Dr. Job assumed. Now watch this. I gave my methods, right? Just want to show this real quick because this is important. I give all his points that he made. Hold on. Let me fast forward to get that little part out of the way. So here was all the points Asar Imhotep made at that debate in 2018 on a linguistic platform. One, these are his direct statements. I collected all of them. He said, Asar states that researchers assume the meaning of Kemet is black. He said that at the Jobs conference. I have that recording. He said that. He also said, he said that also in the debate. So y'all going to hear that in the debate. Also, Asar stated that researchers ignore the classifiers. So this is going to be a lesson today about the argument of Brother Kim means this or that without a color determinative. That's his argument. No joke. He said ignore the classifiers determinatives. All right. Asar states that researchers ignore the earlier uses of the term. Everyone knows that the earliest uses of the term indicating a group of people is indicated in the Old Egyptian. Old Egyptian. Asar states that researchers do not verify the term in genetically related languages. This also is delusional because Coptic is what people? Related. Coptic is related. Now, this is going to be an important lesson today. Now, watch this. This is Dr. Job's work. And I just want to show y'all why having grammar skills is so important and why Dr. Ricchetti's courses should be flooded with people trying to know the mother language, right? So it says in chapter 5, Job 1977, genetic parent of the Egyptian pharaohs and languages, African, Negro, that's my English by English translation, but this is a French text in 1977 by Dr. Job, and here is his arguments directly. I presented this years ago in 2018. Now watch this. This is why I won. It was easy. Look, chapter 5. It is a collective. So Dr. Job begins explaining what it is with grammar. You can't tackle these issues without understanding the primary itself, how it is used, what is going on with the syntax, the pragmatics of it, the structural grammar. Not no hocus pocus, it's black, or is riparian land, I think. No, what did the grammar say? Grammar. What did the grammar say? Right? It says, chapter 5, Dr. Job states, own words, it is a collective form putting the adjective black to the feminine singular. This is, I'm going to let y'all know, elite grammar skills, just to get that clear. Followed by the determinative, composes of man, women, and the three traits of the plural. It is a precise, this is Dr. Job's argument. So I just want to get things clear that this argument is in 1977. We're in 2022, just to catch people up. And that's why Professor Campbell said Assault is going to bring people 40 to 50 years back, black people. 50 years back. Y'all would see Back to the Future. But anyway.
I'm sorry, Dr. Obadele Campbell said that?
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because I said the same thing. So we are in agreement on that point, Mm-hmm. But that's really for those who follow their hypothesis.
Yeah, you're correct. You if you said that same thing, you're accurate as well, because this argument, when you say that argument, you are measuring. I know why you are saying it. You are saying, okay, if it's 1977 since the argument came about, and from 1977, we in the year 2022. So Dr. Job already proved that point grammatically and had no distractors to prove his group. Show me a peer-reviewed paper that proved that grammatical operation is in fact null and void in peer-reviewed documentation. The particular glyph he is arguing. We about to look at the papyrus where he get the glyph. What glyph, first of all, do people even aware of what he's arguing? What glyph is it? We got to know what glyph. What source this glyph from? You understand what I mean? People everywhere with the kill glyphs, right? Everywhere. But what was Dr. Job's precise argument? It was grammatical. We're reading it directly. This is me explaining this in 2018. This is a 1977 source. These people, scholars are saying by him and yourself being 50 years back. This was explained in 77, man. I wasn't even born yet. I mean, if you're taking us back to this again, this argument here, literally, you're scientifically, you're setting black people back, yes, 50 years, 40 to 50 years. Yes, so you're correct. It's mathematics. It's dealing with phases, chronology. Like they don't understand chronology of Medu Neter. They try to argue points about Old Egyptian using Middle Egyptian. Ain't that silly? How can you use a Middle Egyptian phase to argue a Old Egyptian point? Linguists, we look at the oldest languages in attested languages first. If we can't find it, then we look into the languages that we can compare. So if it's an old language that's attested, we're going to use that over any contemporary. Trust me. You get my point? So why are we even arguing Middle Egyptian with Old Egypt? It's silly. It's different divisions. I explained different divisions in Ujawu book. He got an error. he only went up to Old Egyptian. This guy know that it's more Egyptians than just Old Egyptian. You got archaic phase, you got the proto phase. It's different like phases of the languages. I've been, trying to explain this. They don't understand it. They don't get it. They don't want to understand it. You can't argue a term and say this means repairing your land with a Middle Egyptian glyph, and you trying to argue something that's Old Egyptian. What sense does that make? Doesn't make logical sense. So Dr. Joe only was saying an argument based on grammar. This is word, so it's no excuse. I tell people, once I show it to you, man, you don't get it from there, it's on you. I'm gonna blast you. See? Oh, yep, last riot. You see that? They were bold statements to say, yes, last riot was if he was there at BB Toomey on that linguistic platform, the statements he made, man, was so bold. And I let up my lady, she an artist here, and she said, oh man, I feel sorry for him. Like, dang, you gonna make that type of statements? Isn't that strange? So he said he assumed. So I'm wondering, did he read that the joke? Or did he read Dr. Joe? I just want to know, do he know in 1977, Dr. Joe, they had a disagreement with Dr. Joe, but then they agreed with Obenga. But you can't knock this grammar rule, Dr. Joe. Show me a peer-reviewed scholar from 1977 argued that his grammar explanation was wrong. You can't. None of them. Nobody in the world did it. If so, we can examine it right here on this show. So as we see this, Dr. Joe is explaining what? You see, a collector. Is he making this up or assuming? This is what we have to explain. Feminine singular followed by the determinative composes of man, woman, and the three traits. He explained the determinative of a man, woman, and three traits. Everyone knows. We're not going to play magical Medu Neter. We're going to go to Grammar Gardner book right now. Anybody, we can pull it up, send a link. Go to archive, Gardner Grammar, and look up the man, woman, and what does that mean when that is locked in back of terms? That means what, folks? People. And also, guess what, people? Indo-Europeans don't argue whether it means people. They know it means... Bro, listen. Indo-Europeans are smarter than what people always say. Indo-European this, Indo-European that. They know the glyph that Joe was arguing as well means in people, not repairing your land, none of that. See, it's grammar. They know the grammar. It's just they made black into a euphemism. So they're not going to say black.
Brother, if their hypothesis was correct, sorry, come again?
Who hypothesis?
The two pseudos, the fake linguist and the other pseudo.
Okay, go ahead.
That riparian country hypothesis. This will mean that from the time the Rosetta Stone was used to decipher or unlock the
No. I know what you're about to say. You mean the Medu Neter was? I know what you're about to say. When I'm saying, all right, listen. What I'm saying is, y'all getting to that point is true. I'm about to agree with your statements you're about to make.
What was I going to say?
You about to say that the Rosetta Stone, none of that is, all of that is false. If you're going to say,
no, that's not what I was about to say. What I was about to say is that we can say in a sense that Egyptology started from the decipherment of the Rosetta Stone, which is really more translation than the decipherment, because we have the Greek, but a lot of our people don't really know that we have the same text in two different languages, and so 200 years, nearly 200 years of Egyptology, all the scholars in the world got the name of the country wrong, and suddenly I don't know if their claim is like, 3 years old or 5 years old, But let's say, about 5 years ago, we had two geniuses who figured out the real meaning of the land. Is that something that's likely?
I'm telling you this, bro. I agree with your statements as I hear you out fully, but it's still along the lines of the Medu Neter haven't been deciphered. Even Dr. Mario Beatty said it. It goes back, like you said, if they're doing that, rearranging things, now it goes all the way back. I get your point. It has to, because Hotep, the word Hotep. See, we know that is that with Coptic. That's how we know that is that. This was explained by Dr. Mario Beatty about the decipherment. This is setting black folks back years. Now, my point is that, do you know, brother, they are using the wrong term. They're not arguing with we are arguing here. We are arguing about the collective form. It's simple. We're not arguing. Don't you know the form which you just said? Do you know that we are not arguing? I'm about to show you the form we're arguing. We are arguing the form that Dr. Job stated. We are advancing Dr. Job's work. We're not. Why would we argue a toponym? You think I don't know what toponyms are? You think I don't know that's some of those chems are in fact probably toponyms, and in fact probably not, depending on the interpretation. We know that this is legal in grammar rules, that all scholars have different types of Egyptological translations and interpretations. This is only down to interpretation. I'm just saying that we are not arguing what they're arguing. I don't know where they got that from. It's confusing. I'm not arguing Kemet with a newt symbol behind it. I'm arguing Kemet with the people symbol behind it. Two different symbols. I'm not arguing the nut. We know that nut can interchange with people. We see it in text. We know that nut means people, village. It can mean buildings. It can mean land. It can mean the sky. This is determinative for words, spectrums with the sky. You can use the nut determinative for the sky. You have the nut determinative for toponyms. You have the nut. This is why this is advanced grammar today. The nut symbol can be used as a special determinative to indicate a village, buildings populated by people. It can represent soil as well. And it can represent water. It was used in water. So that long spectrum of these determinatives is advanced grammar. There's no basic set rule for these determinatives. They interchanges and can mean different things to the Medu Neter people. But just to freshen things up for the people, guess what? We wasn't even arguing with. I don't know where they get that from. It was some made up stuff. They listen to Asar, and if you listen to him, it's like listening to a Hebrew Israelite or something like somebody. No disrespect to my Hebrew Israelites, but when y'all start talking and getting arguing about figures that's not historical or scientific to be real, then it's on the lines of magical Medu Neter, just making up things because like Allah is in the Medu Neter, just blast out pseudo. Walk down the street, everybody quiet. You just Allah is in Medu Neter, like you Einstein, stuff like that. He's trying to set blacks back 40, 50 years. Those arguments is already accepted in scientific peer reviews that Allah is not, in fact, Medu Neter. I mean, who don't know that? Like literally, like who would say something otherwise unless you're getting your work? My issue is that understanding the science of philosophy. If you went to a university and etc., you understand the science of philosophy or philosophy of science. That means that everything must have falsibility. If it already been falsified, why rehash? You understand my point? Why rehash? So here, these are statements. My screen is, we're talking about grammar rules here. So he say assume is perplexing. And then when we go to chapter 5 from Dr. Joe's work and we look at section 6.4, adjective as nouns, I know y'all heard me getting on y'all nerves with adjectives. Who didn't hear me say adjective as nouns or adjective as nouns? Both of those pronunciations to explain the descriptive terms I am. I know y'all heard me say that a million times. Isn't this from a grammar? This is from a grammar book. Section 6.4, Middle Egyptian, an introduction to language and culture of hieroglyphs. In fact, all Egyptian adjectives, all. What that mean about all? All Egyptian adjectives. They didn't say all Egyptian adjectives except Kim. No, they only use Neb as that example. Or nouns. The feminine singular adjective Nefer, for instance, can be used by itself to refer to any good, beautiful, perfect, feminine person or thing. And then he says, this is grammar. Sometimes. Y'all remember I gave you sometimes? According to Assam Hotep magical Medu Neter grammar rules, he states that it must. He said it must. You know, his voice is dark and beautiful, and he get everybody to follow. He had a beautiful voice I ever heard on a black man. He said, you must have a color determinative, or it doesn't mean it. These are magical Medu Neter grammar rules. Here is the actual section of James P. Allen. Does it say you must? What does it say, brother? Sometimes the scribe will add a determinative to indicate what more specifically kind of person or thing is meant. Oh, see, grammar rules. Grammar rules, got you. You said it must. The grammar rule said sometimes. So now I'm looking at, okay, this is where I would start finding out this guy is just a Looney Tune. I say, okay, you're changing Medu Neter grammar rules. You're telling me that all of these grammar rules from Champollion that established them is inaccurate. You're saying that your stuff is accurate, and every scholar from the birth of the decipherment from Medu Neter and establishing grammar rules, etc., is wrong. And you are right. Because the grammar rule says sometimes determinatives are put there. See that? Sometimes. James P. Allen. All right, let's continue. And James P. Allen gives this example was Nefer. Nefer with a man determinative. Nefer is an adjective. Man determinative. Abstract plural. Nefer. Nefert. This means an adjective noun. This is a adjective noun. Kim can function the same way. If this can function like that, Kim can function like that. Because why? Kim is an adjective. And why? Grammar, adjectives can function as nouns. It's simple. Not no hocus pocus, magical Medu Neter going on over here. It's grammar rules. See, grammar rules that we can see and copy. All right. So this is the debate years ago. Now look, do y'all see me having explain? I show different forms. Y'all see that? I saw adjective modifier set Kemet. Kim follows, and in this instance, Asar is correct. It actually has a color determinative. Right? Set Kemet indicating black woman, Isis or Aset. Source, let the answer speak, page 92. So he is correct in that instance. Then he begins to play magical Medu Neter. And then he says, it must have it. It must. Even though this destroys his everything, but okay, we know that when you deal with religious people like that, they strictly ignore, not all of them. Majority I came across will ignore scientific data to tell you, like a flat earther will ignore every scientific explanation that you can come with, even peer review. They will deny every scientific from every geologist, scholar that studies the earth, etc., because they have an idea that's not falsifiable. Is ranked off a belief system, not a scientific system of falsibility. See, so you see, inner Kim. This doesn't have a color determinative. But why? It doesn't need one. Why? Because the grammar rule says what, folks? Sometimes. You ever see a sometimey person? You be like, oh, brother or sister, they sometimey, they act sometimey, they speak to you, and then next thing you know, they mugging you, and that's a determinative. It's sometimey. You can see it in the text. In the phase of Old Egyptian, which differs slightly than Middle Egyptian phase, the Old Egyptian phase of grammar actually omits it more often than the Middle Egyptian. So a lot of these terms in Old Egyptian, they get omitted quickly. All right. In Middle Egyptian. So this was just a old grammar lesson. And inner Kim, and you see Ramet Kim, this is my personal transcription of the Papyrus of Berlin, but we see that Ramet, I couldn't find this form in Old Egyptian. So that's why I tell y'all, if y'all don't find it in Old Egyptian, Middle Egyptian, then you must probably have to go to Demotic. Everything is not published in museums, etc., etc. So I had to go through a text that was not published, and I got it from the University of Chicago. They sent it to me, a papyrus, and in this papyrus has Ramet Kim and Demotic, black man. I don't read Demotic, so I was depending on Johnson 1992, the source Johnson 1992. So Ramet means person or man. Kim follows. See, a mat Kemet, you find the color determinative here. A mat, right? And you see the determinative here indicating that this is dealing with, right, black ground or something, black mud. And this was the Ebers papyrus where someone got a burn and they had to put black soil or dark soil or some type of dark ground, dark brownish ground, brown ground, mud or something on their wound to heal their skin. That's in the Ebers papyrus. This is Pepe Aunt Kim, which we are saying. This was given to me by Dr. Reggie. Dr. Reggie gave this to me a long time ago, and I observed the operations. And as standard Medu Neter, they describe themselves, in this case, as black. In other cases, over on your right here is a black stone. Why this is black stone? Is it an assumption that this is black stone? Or is this grammar rules? Grammar rules that adjectives can be nouns. This is Kemet, which you see minor errors here. I should have put this in parentheses because this is a collective, a variation of the Nisbe adjective substantive noun form, and it variated, looks like, into a collective form in Middle Egyptian. So from this is derived from Old Egyptian, it evolved and variated into the Kahun papyrus sourced by Dr. Job. This is the term we're arguing. Why nobody shows this? Everybody shows the nut, and I'm not talking to, we're arguing what Dr. Job said about this term. Is Dr. Job accurate? Dr. Job said that this was a what? Collective noun, adjective functioning in the feminine singular, purely grammatical. This is a adjective noun. In the Stele of Mentu Hotep and peer-reviewed documentations, this is translated as Kemet with the determinative meaning black soil. Black soil. Right? So we even find this. This possibly can mean black official, black elder, or something. All right? So adjectives can act as nouns and function just as nouns. Okay. Not to go over here, I just wanted to take my time to, I'm about to show more documentation. But let me get out of here. So now we about to look at Mario Beatty closing in on this case. Let's see. Share my screen with Mario Beatty. Dr. Mario Beatty. And I think y'all already talked about that when you were Dr. Reggie. Dr. Reggie also did an excellent presentation here where he actually showed the Coptic forms and his argument with if you can translate black cattle, then you must grammatically translate Kemet as the same such. So here's
centric Africans. Next slide. Now he's giving his demonstration. If Ta Kim means black land, and if you consider Kim to be completed, achieved in the translation of this expression, and then of course in the veritable,
watch this.
You see, I don't have my clicker up here, but when you see Kimon become black, Kame black, you see it in Demotic there.
You see that? He's showing Coptic related languages. It's not just in Old Egyptian. It's not just in Middle Egyptian. It's not just in Demotic. It's in Coptic languages. Coptic languages are considered scientifically the standard descendant of Medu Neter, scientifically speaking. Peer review. So Dr. Mario Beatty, a student of a scholar on that level like Dr. Obinga, is well versed. Look at what he's doing. He's showing the adjective verb form Kim, be black. Adjective noun or the adjective itself, Kim. It's grammatical, not just in Medu Neter, but also Coptic.
And then it has Keme, black land, Egypt. That means, and then of course, in the veritable that you like to cite, the earliest reference to Kim that the veritable gives is from the Second Dynasty, where the determinative on Kim is the horse, falcon on the standards. And how does he translate it? The black horse in the veritable. So from the earliest attestation, from the Second Dynasty onward, we actually see Kim meaning black. So you ask, the question is, how do we get to this? That is, that Kim as a root has a long evolution inside the Kemetic language. Next. Brother Reggie gave a text from the pyramid text. And this text is actually from the text of the pyramid of Pepi I. And the line is here. His transcription is in the second line there. Aha ek kinti kemetiu hapi. And then east. Next line. This is James Allen's translation of this. You shall stand at the four of the dual flagpole shrines as men. You shall stand at the four of those of black land as the apis. That is, that Allen is translating, because Allen is translating that as a Nesby adjective, and it's proper. That's what you see there. But it's an interesting parallel here in terms of what you see, because as Reggie said, there's a couple of...
And I want to tell people there are different... This is an advanced grammar lesson, so I'm going to step in and say that Dr. Mario Beatty is accurate, but I asked Dr. Beatty, why you didn't explain more grammar? Because Nesby adjectives doesn't always mean of a place, according to grammar. Nesby adjectives can also mean those people, period. See that? Where that's at, that is in grammar book. See that? It's two different forms of Nesby adjective. Indo-European scholars refer, like James P. Allen, those of black land. That's how he chooses the Nesby adjective, which is accurate. We choose it of people, right? Black folks. That's how we transliterate it. Black folks. Or those of black. Whatever. beings of black, the black ones, can Nisbe adjective can be translated like that as well. So it depends on what scientific school you're interpreting from. You interpret it from this school, you interpret it that way. You interpret it this school, you interpret it that way. Both are in agreement because grammar rules prove both schools kind of accurate. But we know that understanding African history, the European school is lacking and wrong. Here's why. We have Coptic and related languages that can clear our understanding of the term up. So they don't say those are black land in the African languages. They clearly tell you black folk in the African languages and in Coptic. It doesn't mention about land. When we go to different African texts, in Nubian texts, they say the territories of the red people or the territories of the black people. When you look in Ethiopian obelisks and texts and understanding the concepts of how Africans viewed, even in inscriptions, human beings were represented for places only. When you see captives in Kemet and they are placed on their name, notice that you see the name of the place, the nut symbol, it will be a captive over that place. The human being represents the region in all cultures. So we know that these people are representing themselves as that color. And by the body of work and evidence that the Egyptological evidence show. This is what makes in the European interpretation kind of inaccurate, but they do have grounds because they have also two types of Nisbe adjective, which one we are referring to. All right, so this is where the argument of grammar can come in, but evidence that the nut means people though is why they are incorrect too, because as we about to show. But I just want to get y'all freshened up, and he said something about a SAR. I want y'all to go there. What he said.
And please feel free to go full screen when you're ready.
All right. Sorry about that.
No, no problem at all.
Hold on.
Osiris, who comes in peace.
Watch this.
So, how do we know? So, fundamental ways. One, the innovation of a unitary concept of a nation. And two, the political need to more rigidly distinguish themselves as a nation of people, which is clearly shown in a new hyper-discourse around borders, Tosh, internally and externally, initially and principally directed against the people from Western Asia in the first intermediate period. Next slide. So, how do we know? So, Asar, gave some examples of my work, and I'm going to give some examples of your work.
You hear that? Watch this.
How do we know that Asar Imhotep means Osiris, who comes in peace? How is it that we know that? Mm-hmm. We know that through a process of historical evolution within the Kemetic language, where Asar is Usire in Coptic. E, which is to come, continues all the way to Coptic. Hotep is a word that continues from the beginning all the way to Coptic. Mm-hmm. Asar's method, unfortunately, is not a historical comparative method. It's an ahistorical comparative method.
See that?
It's ahistorical in the sense that what Asar does is that he wants to bypass the historical evolution of the Egyptian language that ends in Coptic. Mm-hmm. And so because he does not feel that Coptic is a part of the Egyptian language, he feels that it's a separate language. So what Asar does in his comparative method is that he goes into other areas and he doesn't go through Coptic. He goes around it. And that's where Obinga's method is the correct method.
Okay, folks. Wow, that's heavy. I got statements to share for. Remember I showed y'all the debate me and Asar had. Let's see Dr. Racketti's statements. What did she say about that debate? You know what I'm saying? We got to go, let's show. What did she say about the debate? Here we go. She said, "Oh, Hotep." I'm gonna try my best to do a Dr. Ricketti voice. All right, her voice is very difficult to do. She talks like this. Hotep Neter. She's nice but vicious with the grammar and told me shut up many times, and I shut up. While being nice, though. Shut up, Neter. Okay. Yes, I will. Right? She said, Hotep Neter, I now listen to your presentation. It is good work, well researched. You seem to have covered everything. See, we're not going to play magical English grammar either and act like we don't see what we see being written here. See, it is good work, well researched. You seem to have covered everything. Good analysis and conclusions. I did not listen to Osiris. There is no doubt that Kim is an adjective and noun, and all the ways you demonstrated are possible. Now, this can be laid to rest. What is next? And now, how will this work be used to further the revival of Medu Neter? What she mean by that is the reconstruction of Medu Neter. Y'all get me? Like, look, they act like this ain't happened. This was 11/21/18 after the debate me and his brother had. I got more statements. Hold up, I got statements from Asar Hoteps. Are y'all familiar with Juan Claude and Bowley? I mean,
yeah, Bowley.
Okay.
But before you do, just a quick question. There was the other guy. There's a fake linguist, as I affectionately call him, and the other guy. Did he take lessons with Rackety Amen?
What other guy?
Ujao.
Look, man, I'm not sure. Probably
Okay.
so, man.
All right. Well, it's not established, so I'll leave it there.
Both are horrible at grammar. So if she did, he's converted to magical Medu Neter. I'm not sure. All right. We're going to show some more statements. I have 2 more statements, but I'm not going to show that. I have other statements because it was 3 reviewers for that debate. So I'm about to show some other statements here.
Someone in the chat says Ujao only completed her beginner
I don't
class.
doubt it. I can tell that person may be accurate because his grammar is magical. It's horrible. He have very horrible grammar. He doesn't know Coptic. He avoids Coptic. Doesn't know a lot of things in grammar. Man, he's horrible with grammar to me. That guy's probably accurate, etc. I heard the same thing, that he didn't complete her full course so he probably stopped at the beginner stages. I was learned by her for years, so And I still ain't, complete but I was learning, advanced level stuff. So he is horrible with grammar, man. He doesn't understand a lot of the things I've shown y'all. I'm showing y'all that I said this in 2018. And so we're going to go back to that, and then we're going to get into the small grammar lesson. I ain't going to keep y'all too long. It's supposed to be at 4 o'clock anyway. Man. But let's go to Mario Beatty's statements. I sent Mario Beatty's statements, my statements to another expert. This is Mario Beatty. He responded. Yeah, let's look at these responses here. All right. This is Mario Beatty. To me, Hotep Neter Neb. Thank you for sending me your work. I will take a closer look at it. Most of us all Hotep's linguistic ideas stem from the work of Juan Claude Mboli. Let's make this bigger. All right. And I told Juan Claude Mboli, who is my friend, actually, me and him are real good buddies. And I said, bro, you forgot to add Kemet, the black people. And he also skips past Coptic. But anyway, most of us all in Hotep's linguistic ideas stem from the work of Juan Claude Mboli, Origine des Langues Africaines. Mboli makes, and he's considered pseudo-linguistics as well. But at least he's more honorable than Nassar and Hotep. But Mboli makes some of the same mistakes in his treatment like Mark Etienne, the Egyptologist that Obinga critiqued. All right. I did not deal with his work technically because I asked him, why didn't you grammar? Like, what's up with you? He said, I didn't deal with his work technically in my presentation because I wanted to highlight Obinga's voice. And you can't read. In translation on the issue from French. This is actually where he is getting his core thesis from for the word Kemet, although unlike Mboli, Asar evades Coptic. I have had written correspondences with Asar on this issue, and it's unfortunate that he continues to take this untenable position. We can stop it now. You know what I mean? I have all type of statements, recordings of scholars, experts in Medu Neter grammar giving the weigh in on my information. I have a linguist from the University of Nubia giving in. So.
And you see, brother, with the internet, we have Pan-African Designs in Apparel who wrote, man, we've never seen these other experts' opinion on Wujao and Asar. Thank you. And I think that's something that most of the people have been missing in this conversation.
But you know that, but brother, you know that that's not true because I put up a recording. Only you probably see. You remember that recording from
Obadele Combo, Dr. Obadele
Combo.
And I lamented the fact that it was removed, because I think it would have been very interesting for people to hear. But it is what it is. But what I can tell you, brothers and sisters, once again, I'm repeating myself, but I've listened to the full thing. And when I say fake linguist, I don't mean to be vicious. I don't mean to be vicious.
Correct.
I'm really trying to avoid saying his name. I don't want to say his name too often. But we know who we're talking about. I don't hate the guy at all. I really don't hate him. But Asar was trying to debate, trying to argue with a specialist in the field. Asar studied computer science. Dr. Obadele Combo got his PhD in linguistics, if I'm not mistaken. So that's not the same level at all. You understand what I'm saying? So if you engage someone that has a doctorate degree in a particular field, you should really take heed, take advice. You understand what I'm saying? But you cannot, it's like, are you going to teach somebody his job? I'll leave it there.
Now we're going to go to the statements of Juan Claude Mboli about me and my work. This is the guy he gets his information from, brother Mboli. Me and Mboli is quite good friends. And I'm about to get the statements that Mboli said about me. Watch this. Let's have some fun today before I get into the grammar lesson. Get into some statements. That's why Dr. Reggie say I always get the popcorn. I brings out all type of stuff, right? Hold on. All right. Let's do it. Statements from Juan Claude Mboli, my boy. Where Osiris gets his work from.
Brother, by the way, is John. Basically in French we pronounce it Jean. But
we
Jean,
say Juan. I'm a linguist, brother. We say in French, y'all pronounce it how y'all do in French. That's how I say it in Baltimore City. So
really? Because Jean is the equivalent of John in English.
Yeah, we say Juan. So
all right. Okay, fair enough.
It's like tomato. Who's correct? But anyway, this is my boy Juan Claude Mboli. Or go ahead, brother. Pronounce it for the French style of the accent. How would y'all say it in French?
Jean-Claude Mboli.
All right. So he say John Claude Mboli. I say Juan Claude Mboli. I'm getting it right. We're talking about the same. It's just that the name is Baltimore accent. That's all. All right. Baltimore accent. Then I say the young. That's another word I pronounce different. You see that? The young Medu Neter, son of Nubia, did an amazing job. I pronounce amazing, not amazing. In Baltimore, we say amazing. See, I'm giving you some accent, brother, let you know that you don't have to correct me every word. This is just naturally how my accent is. Certain words I'm not going to pronounce as everyone else. It's just linguistics. All right? That's
not every word. But I wasn't aware that in Baltimore they pronounce the J that way. That's something I've learned today.
No, actually in Baltimore we pronounce it in different ways.
All right.
You feel what I'm saying? So where we at, if we see a J, we might say John, John. We say John. That's how we pronounce it. John, John, or Jon, John. That's how we pronounce things. Like you, we our accent with you is different.
Yeah, it sounds British in a way.
Yeah. So somebody said that though. The way we say you do sound British. Yeah.
Yeah. In England, a lot of them they pronounce the you like this, So
yeah,
that's what sometimes when I used to hear people from Baltimore like yourself.
Well, look how you pronounce Baltimore. We don't. That's not the correct spelling. Yeah. You know what I mean? How you pronounced it actually incorrect. That's not how we say it. But when you said in your accent,
you said Baltimore.
Yeah, but you just pronounced it's recorded. You just pronounced it incorrect.
I'm not denying that.
Yeah, so
I have my French accent.
Yeah, I'm telling people that's why we say John instead of how you or we say Juan. I say Juan Claude Mboli. You know what I'm saying? So same difference. How you say it at first, how you say Baltimore, we say Baltimore. But how you say Baltimore?
I first said it the French way, Baltimore.
See that? Yeah, we don't say it like that. We say Baltimore. You feel me?
Baltimore.
So we drop the L and T. Well, we keep the L and drop the T. We say Baltimore. Some say Baltimore with the D and A. Baltimore. It's different ways, brother. All right. So anyway, you see, Juan Claude Mboli says young Medu Neter, son of Nubia, did an amazing job on a comparison between Egyptian and Dinka in other languages, and it also brought me a lot. It currently offers a reading of the use of the adjective Kim Black from the old empire that can greatly help to clarify the different meanings of the grapheme Kim. Make it bigger. This is Juan Claude Mboli himself saying this about my work. Statements. Review. These are so-called scholars reviewing my data. Dr. Mario Beatty is a known expert, peer-reviewed scholar. Dr. Ricchetti is a known expert, peer-reviewed scholar. Well, I'm not sure if one call Mboli is peer-reviewed, etc., etc. I'm not sure if he qualified enough, or where I heard, there's a lot of mistakes in his work scientifically, but I still respect him, and at least he's honest about my work. So these are all disciples of Mboli, Asar and Ujawu and stuff like that. That's who they pump. And this what their teacher told me. Right? He reviewed my data and said, it also brought me a lot. It currently offers a reading of the use of the adjective Kim Black from the old empire that can greatly help to clarify the different meanings of the grapheme Kim. Why you say that? Because in historical linguistics, when you establish that words are cognates, then they are cognates from the same parent. That parent that goes all the way from historically from the past to the present contemporary, and all the way from the contemporary back into the past, all the way into a proto language. That means that they are cognates. Cognates are words that are derived, historically evolved sound correspondences across languages. And then it is derived from the proto language, which means that it has a etymology, a historical etymology. So we scan each languages to redefine terms that we have problems with today by using the historical comparative linguistic method. But I don't want to get in historical linguistic methods on the show. I was just interested in explaining adjective, but I just want here in Bowley said, between researchers, we must be able to freely debate and disagree without going for a traitor or ideologue. One must expect to be contradicted by the fact that one will have either ignored or misinterpreted. So he is actually, I agree with him. Know that if we lack rigor, if we let escape the slightest fact, Eurocentric ideologue will not give, well, my brother probably can pronounce this in French. How you pronounce that, brother?
I think he wrote it the French way. I think he meant to write ideologist. I don't know if that's a word in English, but he wrote it the French way.
How's pronounced in French?
In French, ideologue.
Oh, ideologue. Okay,
Yes.
Ideologue in French will not give us any gift because they on the lookout for our smallest mistake to discredit all of our work. I kind of agree with Mr. Mbodi, but I also agree that if you have errors and a scientist is telling you, look at your error, feel free to correct it and send your work to be peer reviewed. That's the gold standard of science. That way you can know the errors so they won't come for your work. You know what I mean? So he gave me credit and props on my work, etc., etc. Saul said he's a disciple of Mboli. Everyone knows that he pumps Mboli everywhere. He the one who brought, Mboli, and Mboli reviewed my work and actually agreed with it and said he was in contradiction because I told him, you didn't compare black person in Coptic. You avoided it. Why? I just needed to know the answer why you avoided it. Did you see it and did not know it was there? Or did you just see it and say, oh, this don't match my argument, and go to the next page and perform magical Medu Neter? So just wanted to show people that. All right, some more advancements here on grammar. Let's go. Okay, let's do something. I know y'all tired of hearing me yap on. Let's do something interesting. Let's do, what was Dr. Job's argument? What glyph was he arguing? What in the world was Dr. Job arguing? And Dr. Job was arguing this specific glyph right here. If y'all can see that. Hold on, let me see it. Okay, this glyph. You see this? This glyph? Kim T. So let's go to the breakdown grammatically of this term. All right. So this is important here because we got to put in contact of what is going on. And I put grammar rule. I have this up on my page. That's on Kadika. Grammar rule. collectives and collective operations in the Calhoun Papyrus. All right.
But Netaneb, is there any way that you put the, how do you call it again, the presentation mode where it takes a full screen? Because the writing is a bit small to read. Not too small, but yeah.
I'm gonna make the writings bigger though. But I don't show a presentation mode. Let me or something. Let's see.
Or slideshow, I think.
Slideshow, okay. Go from current slide.
Yes, from current slide.
All right. Do you see it now?
It hasn't changed.
See? So that's why I ain't do it like that. Did it change now?
No, it hasn't changed. So where is the shortcut? Let me try the shortcut on my.
You know what I mean?
I have an old version, but view. Slideshow. Oh, can you try pressing F5?
F5, okay. I pressed it.
Oh, but it's no longer sharing now. I think you unshared it.
Hey man, I think I should do it like that because I can.
Okay, no problem. Just you know. So just no problem.
Yeah, because I can make it bigger or smaller.
Yeah, no problem. So feel free to share. Yeah, there it is. Okay, go ahead.
I want to go ahead because this is grammar here, and let me make it bigger. So first, this is Dr. Jope's statements here. All right. And y'all see that this is in the Mokhtar 1990. This is peer reviewed. These are Dr. Jope's direct statements. I just made it bigger for y'all to read, right? And this was argued to be assumed. And it says, Dr. Jope says, in the Egyptian language, a word of assembly is formed from an adjective or a noun by putting in the feminine singular. Okay, let's examine Dr. Jope's words. So when we break these glyphs apart, each glyph grammatically, we find that it matches, Kim matches other feminine singulars. It matches other. Within the same papyrus, there's another collective with the same determinative operation. So we are arguing this here. That's what Jope sourced. And then he sourced a later rendition of the Nisbe adjective showing people as well. So he says, Kim, adjective. This is pa. Okay. T, feminine. So this is feminine. Feminine adjective. This is a pa. This is feminine as well. This is determinative of man and woman. This is determinative of man and woman. All right. This is abstract plurality. This is abstract plurality. Dr. Jope was accurate in his description, as we see that this Kemet matches identical with grammar in the same text, another collective, and they interpret this as a collective operation. So we interpret this as an adjective functioning as a collective noun. Adjective, what according to grammar, can be nouns and function as any type of noun, right? So let's read Gardner. This is Gardner, as we see Gardner grammar, Egyptian grammar. I screenshotted that. Let me bring this in the front. All right. And it says here, what are collectives? Grammar. Let's go to grammar. Many collectives in T are written with the plural strokes, though they are really feminine singulars. So Dr. Jope is correct. When we are looking at Kim, it's a feminine singular. Anybody disagree? I'll wait. I got Egyptian grammar open. I got it, Egyptian grammar at the bottom. Kemet is described by Dr. Jope as a collective, feminine singular collective. Can anybody on this planet Earth or outside the planet, if you believe in UAPs and UFOs, can provide any grammatical analysis that prove that this is wrong? And if you prove this is not a collective, then what about pot? Is pot a collective? So if you agree grammatically that pot is in fact a when we are looking at pot here, my arrow. When we are looking at pot right here, P-A-T, if this is a collective, and this means what? We're going to go to the direct primary text. So the direct primary text, when we look up, is here. This is hieratic. See, look at the hieratic. The hieratic right here. S-unk. S-unk. I'm shitty at hieratic. NF. Pot. You have S-unk, where you have here, S-unk. NF. I think this is NF right here. And this is Kim. Kim, right here, man and woman determinative, plural strokes. This is Kemet. They did a transcription to regular meta-ness. You know, that is common. So they did that for more clarity. So this is hieratic. I can read a little bit of hieratic, but when you transcribe it, we see the full glyphs better. In the same Calhoun papyrus, we find S-enunk pot, meaning nobles, as a collective. Wow. That's a collective. But then when we get here, it's a problem. Is nobody in their right mind will translate this as a riparian goddamn land? Sorry for my language. Silly. How silly? Because we can go to Gartner and see what the glyphs mean directly, the formations. This is grammar. Strict. We are sticking strict to grammatical operations. So it says, what are collectives in grammar? What you're seeing here, when I'm moving around, is from a grammar book on collectives. And that is Gartner Egyptian Grammar. And it says, many collectives in T are written with the plural strokes, though they are really feminine singulars and are so treated syntactically. So he give an example of collectives, like I'm doing. Min, net, feminine singular, determinative, abstract. Minute, herd, collective. Hinit. You see the T, man, this is a feminine singular. Sailors. The plural of remet. Man is written wretch or wretch, but appears from such phrases as remet, all men, to be properly a feminine collective, remetchet. Very, very rarely the writing remetchet nebet is found. So he is explaining collective operations, man. This is why I say people setting folks back 50 years. Who doesn't know this? Really, it's a shame. If you don't, this is basic. I'm not even getting into the advanced yet. This is regular basic grammar rules on collectives, abstract plurals. Okay, what did James P. Allen say? I have Dr. Jobe's statements of the operation. Then I have 2 grammar books beneath. Here's the second grammar example. Reason why I did it like this, because people like to play I can't see and hocus pocus magical Medu Neter. So that's why I have to do it like this. The screenshot. Now it says the plural determinatives have 2 qualities. On the one hand, it indicates that the preceding noun refers to more than one thing. On the other, it shows that the preceding noun has an ending oo or wet, feminine. For this reason, plural strokes are sometimes used. Again, see, we get into words like sometimes because we can't say that it's all the time. So we got to put sometimes use. Plural strokes are sometimes used with words that aren't real plurals. In the word rakit, population, rakit. See that? Man and woman, population. For example, the plural strokes are used because the word refers to a group of people, even though the noun itself is singular, as it is in English. Such nouns are collectives. The abstract noun, and he goes in. But as this operated as a verbal form of the Nisbe adjective, and you see its operation during this period in the Calhoun papyrus is like other collectives in grammar. This was what Job argued. And then as we go down, he would furthermore the language offer us another term, kemetio. Are y'all getting the arguments of Job? Where is he arguing anything with land? He's arguing the people determinatives. He's arguing the Calhoun papyrus, where he's saying in the Calhoun papyrus. Any argument there with Job is arguing. This is specific. This is the specific term Job is arguing. Then he offered another argument on Nisbe adjective, his interpretation of Nisbe adjectives below, substantives, nouns. Any questions? We know directly what Dr. Job is arguing. All right. Let's go to some. Okay, this be interesting here. This is commit used as a collective in the actual duplication text in the transcription text from the Hammurabi. So I'll give TLA transliteration. It says, he has come after he has animated the inhabitants of Egypt and has eliminated their needs. So this is another silly argument of Osiris, where he just don't know advanced grammar. He thinks that because this has a what you call a suffix, a feminine singular suffix pronoun, that it must indicate as singular. Then this ain't talking about a group. You should have heard that argument. They did that on ASCAP. Can y'all believe it? I swear, no lie. They did. I have the recording. I seen them argue that. I said, these guys don't know grammar. When you see the S here, which is in red, you see a S. That S does not, in all cases, indicate indicate that someone is speaking about a singular. I forgot the argument. The argument was so, oh man, it wasn't even grammar. We're looking at grammar examples. This is a causative, S, unk, to cause, to live, to cause, to enliven or live. This is a Sejamet form. So it's a he has animated. He has animated or caused to animate. He is right here. So he has caused such a math form. So he has enlivened. He has enlivened Kemet. And this is a collective noun. Now, when you go to the bottom, we see the duplicate of this. It's a duplicate. The duplicate. So we know they're talking about people because this is talking. Why would you? How can you enliven the ground? Think about the context we're looking at now. If this was talking about riparian land, wouldn't it say what do it say? Essenok riparian land.
But you know what they might argue there is that it doesn't. It's not Kemet, the actual place, but the people. So they might find that escape route.
Huh?
Here, when you ask that question, they might say, "Well, here it doesn't say Kemet. We don't have the new glyph. It's talking about the people." So
yes, it's talking about the people.
Yeah, so that will be their escape route because they are claiming that Kemet means the riparian land. They means they're claiming that the country means the riparian land. So they might dance around that. Maybe I wasn't clear.
Yeah, you was unclear.
Yeah, because you said
how would that? How can you translate riparian land?
Mm,
And this is grammar rules. We looking at grammar.
Well, I was only because here it's not talking about the place but the people, right?
Correct.
They're claiming,
well, hold on. Why is it not talking about a place, and why is it talking about a people according to grammar? Why?
Well, it's talking about the people because we have the determinative of the seated man and seated woman and the three strokes of the plural.
Facts. And what else? According to grammar, what else? You have more explanations to do. It's feminine singular. I read the grammar. Let's go back to the grammar. See, we got to go back to the grammar. The grammar, it's no getting around grammar. Okay, say you want to argue, which say you want to argue. It says it here about collectives. It says it here. This is known since I think this is 1927, my buddy. I mean, it's 2022. So in 1927, this grammar book says many collectives in T are written with plural strokes, though they are really feminine singulars. The feminine singular, which also is important. The feminine aspect of that being feminine, a feminine singular. Though they are really feminine singulars, are so treated syntactically. These are grammar books. It says it in grammar. These are collectives. When we're looking at a collective, we know that it's a collective, as you stated, because now it has the determinative of man in text. This is primary text. We're not talking about our interpretations of nut, and if we want to argue nut, but even if you're talking about nut, the nut glyph interchanges directly with people glyph. I showed that as well, clear for clarity. Every time you see nut does not always mean you're talking about land. I showed it. It's easy money in text, right? So this is the actual source right here. We see in no possible manner. We have duplicate inscriptions. Let's go here. Let's go to a duplicate. Look, I made it so it's duplicate. And we see this is other SNR forms. So this is all Sejm F forms, Sejm and F forms, all do Egyptian. I collected some. And it says SNR Rao, who translates as who invigorates Ray. He enlivened you, animates Ma'at, revive your body. May you enliven your son, nourished the people. I have resurrected the names of my ancestors. It's only used, I haven't seen it used for strictly speaking about ground. And if it is, it's speaking metaphorically. We see this is dealing with people because the last one is SNR, NF pot. He has come after he has invigorated the noble ones. That's how they translate that. Hold on. Facts. What can one argue? If you are trying to argue this, you're performing magical Medu Neter. It's just that magic. You're creating something in your own mind. You wanted to get. I'm not sure. If below, or what would you translate below as? Asonk, NF. We know that that's he has enlivened, he has invigorated the nobles. Grammar rule. What can I say? Can I say that pot means riparian nobles, or We have to rearrange grammar if we're gonna listen to other folk, you know. So here's a duplicate. All right, so here's a SARS direct. He shared this. Can y'all believe this? What he said, folk? More grammar mistakes. See, he tried to get y'all with grammar. Y'all don't know grammar that well. He didn't get me. I looked at all his little errors, and I could be real picky with errors, even with my own work. So it say this is a SARS translation. I swear, no joke. I had the source. This is from his work. You see Ujabu's symbol almost in the background. Look, they had this parading this around. I swear to y'all. Look at this, people. Look, Monica, you can see the name. Maureen, ain't she one of their disciples? Look at that. So this is what he said this means. He said it's not referring to people. That was the SARS argument. He said his translation is, no, let's go to a SARS direct work. Let's see. No, that's he stole that from Ogden Goatlet. But anyway, he said he translated this. He caused the nation of Kemet to live. He dispelled its afflictions. And I asked him, what is his English translation? He said it didn't mean people. That's what he said. I swear. I said, what? I said, all right, so you mean the determinatives that you see that is not referring to people? He said, no. C said is the reason why it's not referring to people because he told me that this S right here, no, I swear he said this, people. He said his argument is that this S that's found in the text, this S, is in fact some type of suffix pronoun, and it automatically changes the meaning of Kemet. I swear he said this. I got it written, sourced, and everything. That this S changes Kemet to mean a toponym. I said, hold up, bro. Listen to me, brother. Now I was really feeling sorry because I said, yo, what in the... I said, brother, are you aware that yes, this is Ogden Goatlet's translation that it can mean it's, but TLA don't have it's. TLA have their, brother. Because why do TLA have their and not it's? He said this, I said, this text transliteration and translation of the feminine singular suffix pronoun s is inaccurately translated as it without keeping in line with proper Medu Neter grammar rules. So I caught that. He tried to use the it's to make Kemet a top. He was doing, man, they was doing a lot of stuff that I was catching. I said, research states that this term mentioned in the common papyrus is not a collective referring to a group of people. Rather, it's a toponym referring to a place. He bases his argument on the feminine singular suffix pronoun s. He claims that s in this instance is referring to Kemet as a place because of the third feminine singular suffix as it. This is in fact a violation of suffix pronoun grammar rules. Why I'm saying that is a violation of the grammar rule. Let's go to the grammar rule. We're gonna go to Middle Egyptian grammar. So this guy's argument was that this third person feminine singular is only mean it's. He's making grammar rules, magical Medu Neter grammar rules, and he's bending grammar rules the way he want to bend them without respecting the grammatical rules of it. Yo, that is magical Medu Neter. Now, this is what the actual text of the grammar would say about pronouns. I hope y'all know. This is why I say advanced grammar, because people may think that just because you see a suffix pronoun that doesn't mean anything. These terms are polysemous. Polysemous mean multiple meanings, and it can be applied differently and omitted in some cases. What you mean? It gotta be translated as it's. So on page 33, Middle Egyptian Grammar, James E. Hott states the Egyptian suffix pronoun is often ambiguous, and different translations are sometimes required. Why did he say that? So this doesn't, as he is arguing that this is have to be translated as it's, is wrong. I give TLA translations below. I give the grammar rule. The grammar rule is the Egyptian suffix pronoun is often. What does often mean? What does ambiguous mean? It's like, yo, I was talking to some, it says ambiguous, a doubtful or uncertain, especially from obscurity or indistinctness, capable of being understood in two or more possible senses or ways. So when we're reading these grammar books, we have to pay attention to precise detail of what is being relayed to us. So below is TLA. That's today's. I'm giving y'all standard today's, and they translated like me. There. See that? There. TLA translated like Never there. Like anybody else that reads that would see the people determinative, it's common sense that we must apply grammar rules and not get magical. So the Egyptian suffix pronoun is often ambiguous, and different translations are sometimes required. That's it. Not nothing spooky. You know what I mean? These guys are not Einstein, acting like they Einstein trying to argue joke. Get out of here. You gotta get your grammar rules correct first. You gotta trump grammar rules, bro. And that's a hump. I believe you will never. Man, listen. You just trump grammar rule. You're a bad dog. You're a bad dog. You can trump grammar rules. All right. Here's S. See this? I looked up S in the text corpus TLA, and we have numerous times when this feminine singular pronoun, suffix pronoun, right, is used for there. Not just it's. Their needs. Rena, their name. Their north dwellers. Their homes, or these can be these northern dwellers. Sacrifice of the dead for them. S is used for them. Their biscuits. They had biscuits in Kemet. It probably was delicious. Their biscuits. Here's another one. Traveling around in Lower Egypt in the mountain animal district in the place of Jotman is their name. Parit Misha Hina Nahabat Hin Mahatu S, coming out of marshes with lotus buds from there or these northern dwellers. See, they try to make things fit and destroy ground. They destroy and take us back 20 to 30 years. No lie. Dr. Cannonbone was absolutely accurate. You listen to this stuff. Now, I looked at the forms in this text. Let's look at the forms in this text. And we see that, wow, you have Kurdu. This is Kurdu. I know people complain about making it bigger. So,
Children, is it?
yes. And when you see these children, brother, you see what? Man and women in an abstract plurality. So we know what that determinative mean. You can't fool us. There are terms where determinative of man and woman can mean a toponym, etc., but majority of cases get real, man. This is talking about children. Kurdu is telling you it's talking about children. Etf, F. This is talking about your father. a father figure, a person. Kemet is the same. This is the whole, I analyzed the whole text. And when we look at the whole text, you see it's talking about a deity in this one. This is talking about the people. This whole text in him is talking about the people before it gets to the land part right here. Before you even get to the land part, it's speaking about first the neters. And then it's talking about the children. We can see by the determinative what they was doing. Then they go from the children to the fathers. And from the fathers to Kemet, in which these people are the guardians of tradition. The black people, they say the blacks. The blacks. And in here is Pot, the nobles. So you have the ranking systems here. And you have Tawi, the two lands, or whatever, the two lands, regions. And then it starts talking about land when we get down. But all of this is speaking about the neters, the children, the father, the blacks, the nobles, etc., in this whole entire text. So it says your gods, your children, your fathers, Kemet, question mark, noble ones, two banks. This means the blacks, because it can it's a feminine singular collective. Hold up, I'm sorry about that. So these are some grammars taking apart this text. I did already on my channel. I don't want to be too long-winded with this, but this dealing with grammar mistakes they made is just basic grammar mistakes of mistranslations and wrong translations. So I show that, this is the grammar books I'm using here, etc. Calhoun Pappas Grammar Philology. All right. There's a lot of mistakes, grammar mistakes that happen. So I'm about to share some other grammar. We're going to get into it real deep now. Let's do it. So if you see this here, you see these are in orthographic brackets. So what I did was, okay, if you can compare it in Coptic, because what I have seen in Medu Neter, I have ancient Egyptian. None of this is scientific. You're going to find errors. I'm just letting you know. But I'm just saying that just look at the comparisons. That's it. The comparisons is what's relevant, or the operations in general. All right. So I'm going to tell you what to disregard and what you oh man, I'm trying to. Okay. Sorry. So this is, of course, this is not what we call it. We call it Medu Neter. Medu Neter have different phases, from archaic phase to old to middle to new to Coptic, etc., etc. We know that. So when we say Egyptian, it's kind of like scientifically inaccurate. Because when I mean Egyptian, then I ask the question, what phase are we speaking about? That always been an argument of mine. What are you talking about? Are you saying this term is older than this term? What term should we be looking in? So using ancient Egyptian is inaccurate. At this time, I was, just beginning some serious studying. This is a rough copy, okay? So this has changed, and I couldn't use this when I submitted to a paper, all right? So I'm just using here ancient Egyptian for those who are new to the conversation. Egyptian is only a nomenclature that we use. That's it. This is not Egyptian. There's no such thing as Egyptian. I just want people to understand it. This is only a nomenclature. Now, it's errors here as well. And the errors here is that I don't really have to put you. This is supposed to be in parentheses anyway, and it's supposed to be a W. So it was just kind of some small errors, as you see, that I made back then. The spelling is in a orthographic representation, and you can't compare orthographic representations like Dr. Cambone stated with Medu Neter or any other contemporary living language. So I just want to make sure everybody know that this is only orthographic spelling. That's why I have it in the orthographic angle brackets. All right. That's why I'm using these brackets to tell scientists that these are orthographic spellings. Now, the importance here is not all of the, slight and small errors that I made back then. I'm showing y'all this for a reason, to show y'all that these operations are not only in what they call Egyptian languages. These operations are, in fact, in Black African languages as well. All right? Black African languages have these same operations. So when we look in Dogon Tomoso, a language I used and submitted to a peer review to be phonologically related to Medu Neter, we find these forms in Dogon Tomoso as well. See? And we find Gim acting as a what? Adjective modifier. And Gim follows Ujum, meaning earth. Here, Kemet follows Amat. Same difference. Black mud. This is how we know this is accurate. How we do it in science. Not magical Medu Neter. This is grammar for grammar. Another grammar example, we see Set in Dogon is Sai. Sai is sister in Dogon, and Set can be women, possibly in some occasions may be sister or may not. But the majority we say possibility is woman or somebody that's feminine. This woman here is Kemet. The adjective modifier matches in form and number. The form is that it's feminine in Set, in the form here, and this is also matches in form and number, same like in Dogon Tomoso, because Sai, Gim, black sister, black woman. Inner Kim, black stone. Ine Gim, black rock. Okay? Easy. We check genetically related languages to confirm whether we are correct or, in fact, incorrect. All right. Let's see. A Cash App would be nice too. Shoot. I like Cash Apps. All right.
You use PayPal, brother?
Yeah, I use PayPal though. I was just joking. I was just saying, valuable information. I'm not being real. So let's see. Let's go to this text here. This is the Ebers Papyrus, where I see the Kemetu place black Kemet mud on burn wounds. On burn wounds. All right? On burn wounds. What's this? So here we find, this was given to me by Dr. Obadeli Karenbaum, Ghana University, Ebers Papyrus, German database. All right? And we see in Dogon same morphological form exists. Amat to Kimtu, or Amat Kemet, to have it more correct, right? And it says black mud soil. Black mud. The adjective follows the noun. In this case, has a color determinative, indicating that this is the ground quality. Not all the time do they apply the color determinatives, according to grammar. All right. I'm trying to make it fast. All right. Here is more adjective modifiers. All right. These are more. You have nefert, adjective, dashadet, and kemet, all are adjectives. Nefert follows the noun. Follows the noun, sawut. And that means beautiful woman. See how these terminations are? Dashadet, meaning red, follows iatu, meaning red hills. red hills. That's that follows. Iat. All right. Iatu, that's that too. Or iat, that's that. Adjective modify the same gender and number. The adjective has no determinative. Determinatives do not have to be used, as we see clearly in these examples. Old Egyptian, the determinative is not used. This is dut, kemet, or dutu, kimtu. Adjective modify the same gender and number. Kemet follows the noun. It doesn't have to have a determinative because we already showed that grammar rule that sometimes it can have it. So this was in Pyramid of Pepi, Pyramid Text 534. Let's go into this translation of the Ebers Papyrus. Again, as I stated, Amat Kemet or Amatu Kimtu, parentheses here for abstractness, and it says Kemet follows the noun. Black mud, beginning of the remedies for burns. So this ha im pakatu natu bidet erdatu or sira tepi means beginning of remedies for burns to prepare upon the first day. Give it black soil. Black soil. They was using kemet to cure wounds, to cure burns, according to Egyptological texts. Anybody know grammar disagree? There won't be no disagreements today. Y'all know I got grammar books open. And it's not magical matter natural charms. We don't eat Lucky Charms here, even though they magically delicious. All right, let me see. Get some more. The red hills. We can show that text too. Y'all probably want to know where that's at. Red hills, because that's important. So here, this is the Como Stili 2. And you have black mud, or I have black land, black mud, etc. Red mounds or red hills. And the TLA has set fire to their sites, places, and they became red hills. So they do things how we do it. We see certain colors, we put the color to it. Even though it don't have to be exact, we know that hills that's on fire is not exactly red to them. They just use red because it's in a spectrum of color of Desher. So we see Desher that follows in this text, the Kami Stili, Iat. We see the determinative, Desher that, it follows. Imat, Kemet follows. They are adjectives that's following these things, making it that color. All right. So black herbs, they have something called black herbs. This is all old information I showed years ago and built on these things years ago in the first debate with me and Asar. And it says Biditiu Kimtu, black grain. And this is why I say we're going to get into a little what we call advanced Medu Neter, because now we're about to read something that's kind of advanced. It's not taught in basic grammar. So we have adjective with special determinatives, y'all. Did y'all know there was a such thing as a special determinative? Now I'm going to read. Adjective modifiers below has no determinative for color, found in the hieroglyphic dictionary Waterbu's Dictionary of the Egyptian Language. Each adjective below except one has a determinative that omits the plural marker. So grammar rule states if you see the adjective modifier following the noun and you see that it's feminine, then you see the number the number, and we know that adjective matching gender, which here is both feminine, but we don't see the number. Sometimes the number will be deleted because the special determinative that's here will delete the plural. This is why you have Kemet that follows remet with a nut symbol that deletes the plural. And that may possibly be an adjective modifier. But future research for those. I gave somebody some free research they can do. But yes, this is backed by grammar rule. Uncle Leroy Egyptian Grammar Book, page 91. Omission of the plural and dual endings. The plural and dual numbers of nouns were usually indicated by repetitions of signs or by the use of special determinatives. Special. I haven't yet seen anybody deal with lessons on special determinatives. Why? Because people want to play magical Medu Neter. They don't want to deal with the grammar, because the grammar then will show remet Kemet, and that Kemet can arguably be black people. So y'all better step your grammar game up. There's more stuff to come out in the future. So here you setu, kimtu, black herbs. All these have special determinatives. All of these special determinatives. Not this one, but this one. These ones. When y'all see these adjective modifier forms and they don't match in gender and number, you say this is still an adjective modifier. Yeah, it is, but this is only a special determinative. Special. This is a adjective modifier with no color determinative. It don't need a color determinative because the grammar rules say that sometimes it is seen. It don't have, it's not, the grammar rule is not all the time. It's sometimes. All right, let's see. Let's go to some more grammar explanations. So we're going to make sure, I'm going to make sure y'all over here got this thing and y'all understand this thing, because grammar rules trump everything. So that's it, brother. We built on adjective modifiers, adjective nouns, grammar rules, the Calhoun papyrus, every grammar rule, special determinatives. And I want to let y'all hear this one. Yeah, special determinatives, etc. Y'all want to look at that debate with me and Asar? I'm explaining these same things to Brother Asar in 2018. So let's hear it, so we won't have those who say, oh, he never showed us. You know, man, you magical man and nature guys. Yo, you talking about excuses. You know, they mastered excuses. They mastered it. So let's go to the part where I talk about adjectives, the different declensions of adjectives, etc., etc. Right here. Hold on. Let's play.
Yeah, Institute of Chicago gave me this. All right. When I asked them, so they sent me some sources of demotic text that wasn't published in the British Museum. This is why we must advance the research, because not all the texts are out there. They sent me this information, and on the text, they stated that this information was text was not even published in the British Museum. And it retained the form Remet Kim, speaking specifically of a black person around Greeks in a demotic when the Greeks were used. So this is a transcription of the demotic in the Papyrus Berlin of an adjective modifier, which you see the Kim modifying the term here.
This is 2018. This is me and Asar's first conversation on the adjective, and I gave him grammar. As I'm giving y'all now, the grammar rules didn't change from 2018 to now. They didn't change the standing. The grammar rule stands. See, you don't need determinative for color because I already presented that here. And let's go to more. I break it down back then. Look.
Now, it's unusual. It don't follow regular, as you see, grammatical laws as in Old Egyptian. As times go on, grammars, morphology, and phonology begins to shift and change.
I'm talking about the different phases of Egyptian.
See the overall construction that Kim follows the noun and modifies it. So within the University of Chicago, when they sent me that, the text indicates that they were describing a black man that had an earring and a scar on his face. And this is what the source is for that term, papyrus Berlin. I have the sources for y'all, at the end, if y'all want to check it out. Amak Kemet, black mud, soil. That's in the Ebers papyrus. The Ebers papyrus is like a medical papyri. And within that papyri, we find that
so I ain't gonna go to the whole explanation. I just wanted to show you. I showed this stuff, broke down the grammar, gave grammar rules, and gave more grammar rules. I showed them that the nut can equal here. I showed them an operation. An operation from text source. This is the source Buzz used for it to find this text. And you see that it can mean talisman with the people glyphs, and it can mean talisman with the nut glyph. See? Easy money. Easy money. Same way with Kemet. It can mean people with the nut determinative. It can mean people with the people determinatives. They interchange. It's evidence. I discussed the Cahun papyrus. This is the term we are arguing because of the determinative of man and woman. I gave declensions of adjective nouns. I gave adjective noun right here. I gave adjective noun, and I break down adjective. Grammar rules indicate that all adjectives can be nouns. I gave grammar rules. We are going to compare Kim Black adjective with other adjectives functioning as nouns in most strictest sense. James P. Allen, section 6.4, adjective as nouns. This stuff is easily looked up. I introduced Coptic. I showed Coptic. Equal Coptic. It appears in Coptic. Before I even get to the other languages, look.
Consonant 1, K equals K. K equals that sound that is kind of hard for me to either. I think this is the Q as I shared. See, we use no less than 3. That's why I say Coptic C1 correspondence. I say Coptic C1 here, K, right? Boom. All Ks. So these are 3 correspondences as Dr. Jope showed 3. Now, we saw the adjective, regular adjective, black, being reflected in correspondent all through Coptic Sahidic. We see the adjective verb form, kimon, be black. Demotic, kim, be black. Coptic Sahidic, kimon, be black. Coptic Bohardic, chimon, be black. Coptic for unit, kimam, be black. Then we see in this cognate, he's talking about some daggone cognates. This is a cognate. This is how you evaluate the Kim glyph or the adjective. You don't like Saul Hoptep, he did good sound law. I'm not disputing that. But where's your adjectives? You didn't even compare adjectives in your slide in a 4-hour presentation. What adjectives you compared? You compared all homonyms. Everybody in their mother know, especially in linguistics, that all languages have homonyms. You have more words than actual. You have a lot of words that a human being goes through in a language. Man, you have so many words. So we have to, as untrained in linguistics, that languages to lack up for all those words, they will make a word look the same. They will use the same spelling of a word, and they will have a total different definition for lack of space. There's so many words. You get what I mean? So that's what I'm saying is that they're called homonyms. Homonyms, words that that spelled alike with different meanings. So hominy, whatever. You look up hominy, I'm not trying to go, but let's stick to the point. These are correspondences as we see. Anybody debate me now after this to see if this is not a correspondence. So this is correspondence. This is a proper way of doing correspondence. We're looking into the Egyptian languages first, from Medu Neter to Demotic to the Coptic first, before we look into any Sumerian, remote languages, all that far. We know that Sumerian, how are we going to look at Sumerian when, even though they show correspondences, right? They might show correspondences, yeah, but what about the reconstruction of, or the directionality of not only the directionality of sound and directionality of meaning, meaning meanings change just like sound as due time. So it might have stemmed as Irritable land from Black land, or however, to the modern living stem. So meanings change. So we must see the correspondences with what they are and look at them as the adjectives. Strictly look at the adjectives. That's all you got to do. It's an easy method. Now we go here, Medu Neter, Kimmel. So
this was a slight error. I really ain't have a lot of time as I really wanted to, but this was a slight error. Supposed to be Kemet, but Kimmel, I like Kimmel. You never know; it might have been pronounced in speech as Kimmel, but that is a slight error. It's supposed to be a T and a U supposed to be gone. All right. But let's hear.
We're gonna put a question mark because let's put a question mark.
So what I'm trying to explain is that to people is that if we have any guess to what this means, Kemet, now what do? We have to go into the related languages like Demotic to find it, to try to find it and see if it have reality. We have to go into the Coptic, which the Coptic has the plural form for blacks. They have the singular form for blacks. So is this wrong? No. In fact, it is scientifically accurate to mean Black people. It's in Coptic. No one can argue.
And let's let historical linguistics prove our point. All right. Medu Neter, question mark, Black people, Black nation, Black people a nation. All right. That's my definition. Am I correct? Now, when we go to Demotic, University of Chicago, they have Kim for dark-skinned persons, describing dark-skinned people as Kim. So, do time change? It went from Black people, it seems, to describing dark-skinned people. Coptic Sahidic, Kimmy, Black person. Coptic Bohardic, Chimmy, Black person. Coptic Foyemic, Kim, Black person. This is found in Crumb.
See that? 2018. Coptic. No guessing. No magical Medu Neter here. All right, so that was my build for the day, man. Any questions, man? Nice build.
Thanks a lot. Are you okay to take callers?
Man, sure, man. Why not?
All right. Let me put up the invite link.
May I go to the bathroom, the restroom?
Yeah, of course, of course. Okay. As a matter of fact, I'll do the same as you. I'll put a little something so we can both, relieve ourselves. So this is the invite link, and I will pin it. Okay, I'm gonna remove the sound. We don't want to hear any sound effects. All right. So I will pin the invite link, and you need to show your face, brothers. You need to show your face, brothers and sisters, if you want to get on the panel. 2022. Let's use our current technology. Let's take advantage of it. We'll go from the time of the message board and the radio broadcast. So what should I put that will last a few minutes? Enough for me to use the bathroom. Well, that's the only one that's 3 minutes long, so I guess I will use that one. Where is it? Where is it? There it is.
So Shabazz was not permitted to stay in that area, so he took his family into the jungle of East Asia, which we now call Africa, to make a people close to nature. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, this is the origin of kinky hair. Because we didn't have kinky hair prior to that. The hair on our head was like the hair on our eyebrows. The hair on your eyebrows straight, the hair on your head is not the same as the hair on your eyebrow. But the hair of every other people is the same as their eyebrow. Your eyebrow straight, your hair something different. Wouldn't you like the hair on your head to be as straight as the hair on your eyebrow? That's why you so busy frying it. That's why you so busy pulling it. Because your nature tells you that the kink I mean, you know, with I'm black and I'm proud, we got to learn to be proud of kinks. Because most of your family of other black people on the earth, jet black. They didn't have no broad nose and thick lips and kinky hair. They were dark-skinned people, jet black. But they had straight hair, a thinner lip, a thinner nose. But we are marked as a different kind of black person. And we were rejected and despised, not only from the circle of the gods, but we were despised and rejected by all the other dark people of the earth. This is why today black people with kinky hair and broad nose and thick lips are rejected in every society. I want you to hear me well tonight. Yes, sir. Why are we rejected? Because the essence of beauty is in obedience and submission to God. And the essence of ugliness is when you rebel against God. And when you rebel against God, in your rebellion, you are marked with a certain mark of your rebellion, which is the disfigurement of your internal self, which manifests in the disfigurement of your external self. And this is why when you look at our people, wherever we are found on the earth, you find us either disfiguring ourselves physically because we are disfigured on the inside because of rebellion. Yes, sir. Go
ahead. All right. Now, Brother Ned, just went to, use the bathroom, probably get something to drink. So he's still there with us. As soon as I will be back, I will put the screen sharing thing again. I'm aware, because I'm requiring people to show their face to get on the panel, that details quite a few, but that's the way it is. So for the brave souls, for the ones who are courageous, it's a shame that we have to talk about being courageous when it comes to showing your face. We're not doing anything illegal. It's all good. It should be all good, really. But you still have the chat if you want to ask questions. Take advantage. Our brother is studying linguistics at the university level, so he is knowledgeable in his field. So now is the time. Many will wait after this live stream and they will not engage in the discussion or the conversation. Now, you don't have to call in just because you want to challenge what was said. If you appreciate it, if you liked, if you enjoyed what you heard, feel free to say it. Feel free to come on the panel or just type it in the chat. But you can also come on the panel and say, what's up? Say, I like what I heard, It's good to hear things like that as well, every now and then, So really, I'll wait, a few minutes, and if nobody comes, then it is what it is. So, as you can see, our brother is back. I was just telling them, well, maybe you heard me, but because I'm requiring people to show their face, so that on the panel, there's very, very few would do so, and they have their reasons, but I prefer that, at this point, people show their face. I mean, it shouldn't really be an issue, but to each his own, But that's what I want on that platform, because one of the main reasons is I know when people show their face, they have to take accountability for what they say, because anybody that's anonymous and unidentified, he can be trolling, he can be pretending to be down for a particular way of life or particular stance, but he's just there to make you waste time, and it's not constructive. So I feel like we're grown men, we're grown women. I mean, we're grown men and women, you know what I mean? So it shouldn't be an issue of us showing our face, Dr. Diop, did not hide his face, except for all the scholars that we know and we like and we love. Now, there's one thing I was wondering if Reketiamen was also a priest. I don't know if I heard that or read that somewhere, sometime. I have to verify. Asked Reggie. Reggie wasn't sure.
What you said, Dr. Reketiamen was what?
I was wondering if she was also a priest. Oh, we have a brother here. We have a brother. Did you say yes, she was, or yes, she is. So she's a Kemetic priest, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, Reggie, we have our answer. Now, welcome to you, Stephen Tucker. I'm going to put you on a panel. Greetings. Feel free to speak. Our brother Neb is there, available for all of us.
Dr. Reketiamen was what?
I was wondering if she was also a priest. Oh, we have a brother here. We have a brother. Did you say yes, she was, or yes, she is. So she's a Kemetic priest, right? Yep. All right. Well, Reggie, we have our answer. Now, welcome to you, Stephen Tucker. I'm going to put you on a panel. Greetings. Feel free to speak. Our brother Neb is there, available for all of us. Dr. Reketiamen was what?
I'm not sure how to do it.
You gotta turn off the other tab.
All right. Now I can tell there's a delay, brother Stephen. I don't know if you go on the panel.
Can you guys hear me now?
We have our answer. Information. Oh, maybe he was just trying to chat. Because you're on the panel, actually, we can see you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Okay. Brother Neb is there. The issue is we hear the sound coming out of your speaker.
Yeah,
I'm not really computer literate, so I'm trying to. This is my first time trying to join the chat and everything, so I'm trying to get used to it.
Okay. Now, do you have any headset? No, you don't. Okay. I cannot hear you because I've muted you because of the echo. Do you have a mobile phone? Because if you have a mobile phone, you can click on that link.
Tell him to type his question in.
Or feel free to type your question in.
But
comment. If you have a mobile phone, you can also click on that same link. And this way we will be able to hear you without all the noise from the computer, So choose it any way you like. The mobile phone, or type in your question in the chat. And if anybody else wants to come in, then feel free. You see how easy it is. You just click on the link and you're on the panel. That's all it takes. We don't bite, we won't bite you. Even if you disagree, you can call in, as long as it's respectful. What is it that we have to fear? It's really opinions. It's really point of views, you see. So no major drama. If you don't go against the grammar rules, you won't have no problem. So, okay, no problem, brother. So the brother wrote that he's going to type his question until he can figure this thing out. That message also is in the private chat, so you cannot see it in the chat. So, feel free, brothers and sisters. I read so many people typing so many stuff, but then when it's time to show off, and plus I inform the people that this live will take place about 24 hours ahead of time, which I don't normally do because usually I don't really know when I will have time to go live stream. So, you know, can always discuss, but it's all good if you it's on you, brothers and sisters. But we have someone that studies linguistics at a university level. So take advantage. You know, you might have questions about linguistics, you know, whether it's Medu Neter or other languages, you know, you might have questions about what you've heard today or what you've heard in the past, you see. But understand that many people have been dealing with these different questions regarding Kemet and the language, the Medu Neter, and so on. You know, don't feel like we have some people who are high and mighty and their word is bound, and everybody else on the planet Earth is like, you know, amateurs compared to them. You shouldn't feel that way, you know. We have many scholars, many PhDs who have shared their opinion and their insights about the language, about the grammar, about the translation, and so on. You know, this has been going on for a very long time. And indeed, for some people to come and just feel like, okay, well, you know, it's almost as if they say, I make the rules now. You know, I'm taking over.
Right.
It doesn't really work like that in academia, you know. And besides, you know, which scholar agree with their claims? Have you ever heard about any other scholar that agree with their claims? So while we're waiting for the question for our brother Stephen, you know, don't be shy, brothers and sisters. You know, take this opportunity. It can be the panel or it can be the chat. You know, but I can see our brother Stephen because he's still there, logged in. But I can see him typing. So he's actually typing his question now. So it should appear soon.
Great.
I don't know if you can still hear me, Stephen. I know there's a delay when I speak and when the sound comes to your computer, but if there's any chance you can try to put the question or comment in the actual chat, not the private chat. On StreamYard at the top right corner, you do have, you know, private chat, but if you look at the top, you have comments, and that's where you need to put it so everybody can see it. Regardless, I will read it, but it would be best for everybody to see it. But for the record, I cannot hear you right now, Brother Stephen. You know, I cannot hear you. Oh, well, I have a private chat message, so bear with me. No problem. Yeah, take your time. Take your time. You have a bit of time, Brother Nedneb?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. Our brother has a little bit of time, so you know. But in the meantime, brothers and sisters, take advantage. Let's talk. Let's discuss. And like I said, even if you want to say, I like what I heard, you know, it feels nice. It's good to hear that. So feel free. You know what I'm saying? You can call in or type in, hey, what's up? I like what you heard. Thank you for what you do. You know? But I don't see all those Twitter fingers that I've been seeing all week.
They don't come up when it comes to grammar.
Yeah.
In Google Kemet. When it comes to grammar, you see why. See, you have to be accountable for grammar. If your stance is not accountable with grammar, what can we do? You know what I'm saying? Me and you, we can interpret it any way we like. Rather, we can say, okay, it has black skin. We can say, well, they was describing themselves as brown. We can argue amongst ourselves because we accept the fact that it means black. Period. You can't get around a grammar rule. So we established that. We may say it means dark brown, and you know, a little bit of scholarly arguments from there. But from the point of whether it does, it's out the question. It's impossible to go against a grammar rule.
And the funny thing is that we have a lot of our people who are wondering, okay, how should we describe ourselves? Some people say, well, Africa come from Scipio Africanus, and they say Al-Kibulan is the name.
That's true.
But Al-Kibulan probably comes from Arabic because you have the article al ahead, and now Arabic is not our language, you know, that's what I argue. But for once, we have even Westerners or Europeans who agree that indeed Kem means black. So we have a term that was used by our own people to refer to themselves, you see. But we have some of our brothers and sisters. I received another message. I am new to this, but why is there a question of blackness of the people? Well, here's this question. Why is there a question of blackness of the people? This is our brother Stephen.
Not ain't my question, brother. You know, I'm not sure. You know, that's a question I'm not sure, but I would like to share something.
Yes, feel free.
Before I leave, my work was accepted to another scientific arena. This is the conference of Theophile Benga, Reinventing Africa Through the African Intellectual Archive, organized by the Center for African Thinking and Resourceful Research, Abuja, in collaboration with the Department of History and Archaeology, University of Abomey, Calabi, Republic of Benin. I was accepted, and this is why I am arguing that the Eskimos did it. We can do it. The terms, again, African is not our stuff. The term is a nomenclature. That is not us. Africa came from Latin. We never used that term to describe us. So I wrote a scientific paper showing that to this university, which was acceptance of abstract. So this is what I did. I did a study with languages like the Eskimo linguists did, proving that Eskimo is not, they called themselves some, but overall they called themselves another term. This is what the brother Ndugu Kemen is speaking about. What did we describe ourselves historically in the related languages of Negro Egyptian? Because we accept Negro Egyptian as a working hypothesis. We don't accept Greenberg work as her working hypothesis. We have the right and legality in science to accept Dr. Theophile Benga's family of languages, which is the Negro Egyptian family of languages. It's just as a working hypothesis as the other language families. So since we know this, so now I will be analyzing the historical evolution in chronology, because this term is in different phases of Egyptian. It's not just in a certain phase. This is in every single phase of the Egyptian of Africans calling themselves Black. The Medu Neter is the mother tongue of Black African languages, according to Dr. Theophile Benga's work and according to our work, because we submitted a paper on it. So Blacks as self-identification throughout the Negro Egyptian languages to aspire a pan-African ethnic identity. Ethnicity and genetics are two different realms. Ethnicity deals with what we believe who we are. It can be genetically, it can be ideally, it can be from linguistics, analyzing the language that we said through time, and we can accept it as our ethnicity. We can create our own ethnicity. We don't have to go by African. We are not African. That's a Latin term. Period. It's Latin. And if you want to change the standing, you got to do peer review. You got to go through the rigor of stopping it. My argument is that we should leave it alone. We shouldn't be called Africans, Negro, Black, whatever that you say. We should be called what we called ourselves. And what we called ourselves is Kemetu, which means Black. In our conception of what Blackness is, not the conception of today's standards of what Black and white is. That is the racial construct that's created today. When we called ourselves Black back then, it was of a different etymology. See, every term that means Black doesn't have to have the same historical evolution, historical etymology, etc. It can be different. The European languages, where they get the word Negro from, is how they developed that term for dark in their conception of human evolution and human linguistic evolution. We develop our own meaning and etymology of what Black in what it is as it describes ourselves. So we shouldn't go by theirs, even though we thank them. Now it's time to go by our own now. It's time to go into the Cameroonian languages that's in the Negro-Egyptian languages. It's time to check the Yoruba languages, the Nubian languages, the Igbo languages, the Coptic languages, the Dogon languages. It's time to check the Mali languages, the Nigerian languages, the Wolof languages. Every languages that will be within the Negro-Egyptian language family, it's time to put those languages to the test and check them each by each to prove that they are in fact cognate. Cognate meaning from the same descendant ancestor of the Negro-Egyptian Kemet, meaning black folk. So what I did was I showed that our term for black people that are in living contemporary African languages of today are actually derived in cognate. When I say cognate, that means that the word is derived ancestrally from a Negro-Egyptian parent. So our term for black is derived from the same term for black that was derived from Kemet. And it reflects in different African languages. See, it reflects in different African languages. And I'm going to show y'all this. Let me show y'all this. One more thing to share. Sorry, I'm sharing a bunch of stuff. I shouldn't even share this, but I'm going to share it anyway. I like to keep my information to myself. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, I ain't sharing that. You know what I mean? Drop a donation, I'll share it. You know what I mean? But I'm just, you know what I mean, saying that I don't really like to share my stuff, but let's do it for the sake. This is a good brother. I looked up this brother's stuff for years. All right, so here, this is a scientific chart of Medu Neter, and I compared it using sound laws and sound correspondences with demotic. In black, you have blacks, you have dark-skinned person in demotic, you have Kimi is singular and grammatically plural in Coptic. All of the dialects of Coptic, well, these three main dialects, Bohetic, Fayumic, and others, black person, okay. In Dogo Tomo So, the adjective noun is Jame Ne, means co-worker, which deals with black, because according to that philosophy, the co-worker, the descriptions of skin color in Dogon tradition have synonymous indications to coal mining. So they said that while coal mining, the blacksmith will get his skin darkened by coal dust, and that men's skin resembles the color of charcoal. So that's why they call themselves black, derived from the coal worker, which was a namos that dealt with metallurgy. So that's where they got theirs, but it's still cognate. Then in Nubian Dongalawi, instead of a K, it's an R. Every time we see a K, we see an R in Nubian Dongalawi. We know that this is a cognate. This is the cognate of Kemet in Nubian languages. They just pronounce it like this, and it's called black people. Old Nubian have Udim, dark people. Nubian Kanuzi, Udamuri, blacks. D and R can interchange. These are real. Then you have Dinka, the Dinka dialects, Kol, the M and L interchange, corresponds, and that's black male or black woman. Kol or Ekol, black male or black woman. You have Kikongo in Dombe, mean blacks, plural. You have Akan Twi or Bibini, black people. You have Yoruba, Adulawo, human black in color. These terms are actually genetically related, not genetically related, but cognate from the same parent ancestor that developed Negro-Egyptian in those times of Negro-Egyptian, Proto-Negro-Egyptian term, and it reflects all throughout the living contemporary languages. That's what we called ourselves in each language. I can go to any language you say. I'm Cameroonian by blood, so my language is Madumba. I checked in our languages and we called ourselves black. Every African language will have that, and then when we compare the sound correspondences with Medu Neter and Coptic, it will prove that every adjective function is in the African languages, explaining the same exact thing, corresponding. So that means that we called ourselves black, and we use Kemet, which reflects differently. So that's my argument to bring to these scientists is that just like the Eskimos did it, and when they changed that name from Eskimo, they looked into the indigenous Eskimo languages and native languages, and it's found what called themselves. They called themselves Inuit, and I found that we called ourselves Kemet, and it's reflex and derived in different contemporary languages from the languages that derived from it. Y'all see? So this is why I'm choosing that name for our designation as an African race or African ethnicity as a whole. We should be called Kemetu, which means black or dark skinned person, brown, in our tradition. This had nothing to do with modern day stuff.
And you know, you mentioned Kikongo, you had it on your chart. And one sister who is from the Congo, she happens to speak Lingala, Kikongo, and some other languages as well. So she started the Medu Neter classes recently. And as we went through the word that the Greeks called thought, which is more likely pronounced Jehuti, she told me, well, and I told her, well, we have the ibis bird and we have also the ibis bird on the standard. And she said, well, it's funny because in our language, in Kikongo, the word for ibis is tuti. And I said, for real. So I made a video, and as usual, I asked people.
Well, just to clear it up, linguistically, that doesn't really tell me anything. But let me get it clear. But if we look into the similarities of those two, Kikongo with Medu Neter, as a scientist, we have to find what we call sound regularity. So there are similarities in all languages. You might find similarity in English, similarities in Spanish, and they say, yeah, that word is in Medu Neter, it's in Spanish, and this isn't. That don't mean anything according to historical linguistics. You will have to prove that that sound of T is the same sound of T regular in each consonant position. That is the key of what historical linguistics is. And similarities come in different types. The nuances of historical linguistics, you can have similarities that are by chance. You just similar. You have similarities by cultural diffusion, which is by borrowings, loan words. All can be similar to each other. For example, Hebrew looks just like Medu Neter. It looks like it. Arabic looks just like Medu Neter, but are they in fact related to Medu Neter? No. In no circumstance, the possibility of scientific probability would not be. It cannot be related. It's impossible scientifically. So that's what I mean is by that. If we take Kikongo, yes, I have seen sound correspondences. Let's look at some sound correspondence with Kikongo. I'm about to share here.
She also mentioned Baku, the work, and she told me something similar in the language, and I forgot if it was the form Baku.
Yeah, but she had to compare the whole. Tell her to look at this, and what I mean is that you have to compare the whole phonological sound system of Kikongo, not just a few small similarities. Means nothing to me. Anything could look like anything, but you have to prove. Just like here, you see, this is my personal reconstruction here, and I show K Velar A-M. Every time you see this K, this is in red, you will see it in Nikongo or Kikongo as Nid sound, Nd. You every time, and this is a different word. This is word for black or blackness in both. These are adjectives in Medu Neter and Kikongo. And you see every time it's a K in Medu Neter, it changed scientifically as a sound law to Kikongo. So you see in the second one, Kamet, blacks. So say if we don't know what Medu Neter means, can we still confirm it with these sound laws? That's what makes it cognate. So we go to here. We see Nd for K, the M is here, MB, and they drop the T. In most cases, in historical linguistics, when you're doing reconstruction, we know that sound directionality proves that a hard sound loses strength through time. So this T may have been dropped in Kikongo when this was developed. So, but both of these have same form and meaning, blacks and blacks. So I even tried a different word, but I still use K in Medu Neter. See, I'm trying to trick the system. I'm trying to see if these are similarities or in fact are these cognates. So this K, I tricked it. Instead of using the M, which is in consonant 2 position right here, I say I'm going to trick it and use an R. Correct. Let's see how we do. So here we have K, and we still have an ND. And then instead of an R, N, R, and N are liquid sounds. They naturally interchange across sound classes all around the world. English, African, Asian languages, R and N is basically the same. So R changed into N, and they also dropped the T in Kikongo. These are cognates, or will be considered with more evidence if she wants to learn Medu Neter, how to compare. You must know the grammar of Medu Neter first to compare it with the grammar of your language, and not just, oh, this is similar to this is similar. It's that doesn't work.
And I agree. Right? I agree with you, because the people who take the classes and also the people who listen to my videos, whether it's live stream or just uploaded videos, are often, very often, warn people not to get into linguistic acrobatics or linguistic gymnastics. But, I stick to my lane. I'm not trying to demonstrate any cognates. I'm just, talking about similarities. As a matter of fact, I have a page on my website. I haven't put any link to it from the template, but it talks about similarities between the Medu Neter and the Arabic. And I say similar.
They are similar.
Yes.
Okay.
Like Samir.
In Arabic, there are similarities, but again, similarities means nothing. Let me show you a historical linguistic beginner's book, in which it tells you the same thing.
Because indeed, there might be borrowings.
How do we know if it's borrowings? We know if it's borrowings because to understand what borrowings are, you got to understand the method. The method is that to know that how do I know if Arabic and Medu Neter are similarities or are they borrowings? How would I know the difference using what method that I'm using? You can't use the mass cultural analysis method. You can't use the multilateral comparative method. You have to use the historical comparative method, which is the method of establishing sound laws, which is by Grimm's law. Once you establish that with basic vocabulary, not cultural vocabulary, cultural vocabulary is borrowed at high frequency between all languages of the world. So you not only is Arabic have similarities with Medu Neter, but so does Asian. Chinese have similarities with Medu Neter. So does South Asian languages have similarities with Medu Neter. Mexican languages have similarities with Medu Neter. Similarities mean nothing. It is only chance similarities that can happen, or it can be loan words or borrowings from contact of two groups in cultural diffusion. So it means nothing to a scientist, like in my field, of two similarities between two groups. It means absolutely nothing. English and African languages also have similarities. In culture and language, it means nothing. You will have to establish what we call a genetic relationship between the languages. So does Sahidic, correct?
Check this out. He wrote so does Sahidic. Sahidic, I mean, that's for those who don't know, earlier, Brother Neb showed us the different dialects of the Coptic.
Correct.
You see? So Sahidic is one of the dialect of Coptic. So whenever you see Sahidic, that's Coptic. And like it was stated many times by scholars for so many years, Coptic is the latest phase or latest stage of the Medu Neter.
Correct.
So I don't know if Osar MK is asking, so does Sahidic.
Sahidic Coptic does also show. Sahidic Coptic is a Coptic from Upper Egypt, Upper Kemet. And Sahidic is the best. That's the Coptic that we have studied. And Dr. Raketi Amos told us to study Sahidic, but I studied two of them, two more, Fayumic and Bohairic. But I like Sahidic and Bohairic as the best. So Sahidic, as Brother Shaka said, I already showed all of the dialectical forms of Coptic. There's no need for us to go back there. We are only showing Kikongo right now. Kikongo, we're showing where we are seeing that these are not, in fact, what? Similarities. How we know that these, what you're seeing between Medu Neter and Kikongo right here is not similarities? Because you see regular sound correspondences that are in red. Every time you see a K, it will end up being a ND sound in Kikongo. That's how we know that these two languages has a possibility, or a high possibility, of being genetically related putatively to each other.
Oh, beautiful. Now, maybe we can end on this. Our brother, he sent me those private messages and he wrote, I was listening to you the other day and it seems someone was challenging your work. Now, that happens many times, and we have the right to challenge each other's work. That's fine. As long as we keep it respectful, we can disagree. Disagreeing is okay, because sometimes people feel like we all black people, we all need to be into this together. Let's not be divisive. We have the right to have different opinions. So that's fine. It's been happening for a long time. Then the brother Stephen added, I just wanted to say thank you both for the work. I'm just trying to follow the conversation, and I will try to catch up with the technology to be a better guest. So I'm clarified who was just adding to what Brother Netanyahu was saying, So, well, we have at least one brother who said thank you on the chat. Sometimes we're so much into the information that we kind of forget of saying thanks. But I'm sure that your presence alone shows that you appreciate the information that you have heard. And Brother Ned, can you tell the people how they can reach you?
Oh man, just tell them holler at you. You can contact me if they holler at you. Look on LinkedIn. You can go to my LinkedIn account, or you can go to my channel, Kadika. I sometimes do that over there, or BB to me, and you can look up. Well, me and Professor Cambone have a group I'm about to share. Let's say me and Professor Cambone's group is on the BB to me. I think y'all should join. Everybody should be in a BB to me right now. BB to me is making big strides towards linguistics and understanding Medu Neter. Obadeli Cambone got some books that's coming. Some work that's coming is going to shock a lot of people, as well as my work. But he has some work as well that I am totally impressed with. It's gonna shed light on not the arguments in YouTube world. These arguments are 50 years behind, like Brother Ndugu Kemet stated. He's absolutely correct. These type of arguments go back at least 1977 and stuff like that. Let's go here. I'm about to share my screen. This is the BB to me. Me and Professor Cambone we both are organizers of our Medu Neter linguistic group. As y'all see here, you see that? Cometio Communiversity. So this is who we are, and that's who we even Indo-Europeans who are with us. They are also considered adopted in Dagu Dagu or in Dungu or in Gunga, and they are also Cometio and they will also be depicted as a Cometio because they are fighting with us. We are not doing this by ourselves. This is not racist. Dr. Job didn't teach racism. He said he want all forms of people to fight for this truth. And the younger scholars are starting to, even white and black are starting to come around like, Europeans don't like the injustice that we're going to. And they see us fighting. And so they are fighting along. So this is science, man. In science, we have no room for magical Medu Neter. it's just not no room for magical Medu Neter. So let's go here. BB to me. We can go to my group. It's Harvard linguists there. When y'all see in the group, don't get intimidated. A lot of professors in there, award-winning professors and stuff. So hold on. Oh, it said loading groups. Please wait. So it's loading the groups. Sorry, it say please wait, but I'm waiting for it to load up. It's going to show it. Now, you see this? This is a BB to me. You won't find in a SAR in Hotep on a BB to me. Get real. Not to disrespect that brother. I ain't knocking him. But pseudo-linguistics is pseudo-linguistics. People act like, oh, no, you're attacking. I'm not attacking. I'm just saying it's pseudo-linguistics. When you get rejected, man, you got to go back into, if I get rejected, I'm going to keep doing it until I pass. That's what Einstein did. Every scientist get rejected. It becomes pseudo when you say, oh, I'm rejected. Oh, forget every scholar in the world. That's when you're gonna still publish it. Yo, dude, you know you're selling crocodile oil, man. Snake oil, crocodile oil. You don't even want your joke peer review. So here, comparative Negro Egyptian linguistics. You see scholarship of, he just became a associate professor, man, of African studies at University of Ghana. You got the Lingala language group. You got Wilhelm Medu Neter study group. And you got the comparative Negro Egyptian group. In this group, who are organizers of this group on this scientific platform here, where you have credible folks? The organizers are Obadeli Cambone and Medu Neter. Together, we organize this group. So y'all come to this group right here. And we have a lot of different, I share a lot of different stuff I don't share everywhere. Obadeli Cambone is excellent with language. One of the best linguists I have ever seen. I think he's better than myself. So I learned a lot from him, technical stuff. Here I shared a inscription where it says, you know, you hear people talk about sub-Saharan African. We know that Nubian is considered sub-Saharan today. So you have Nehisu is considered Nubian. Nehisu is considered Nubians, and they were considered Negroes. They sub-Saharans. So they said sub-Saharans wasn't in Kemet, but according to this text, maybe a problem. Because this text says Ne Hinmemet Nehisu Nu Kemet, and these are the possible translations. These Nubians, Negroes, are sun folk from Kemet, land of blacks. These some people, the Nubians, Negroes from Kemet, land of blacks. These citizens, the Nubians, Negroes, are from Kemet, land of blacks. You hear people say that Negroes or sub-Saharans, let's make this bigger, wasn't a part of Kemet, but according to grammar, according to primary inscriptions, oh man, and this is a linguistic professor over there at Cambone. Great excavation as always. So there's problems with text, Egyptological interpretations, etc. So that can kill the noise that sub-Saharans want in Africa. Wouldn't this be valuable, folks? Sub-Saharan wasn't African, wasn't in Kemetu. Not sub-Saharan, because sub-Saharan is not a scientific term. But I'm just using it how they use it. They call us sub-Saharan, okay. They say we wasn't in Kemet, okay. So why this text say that the Nubians was, the Negroes, they know Hisu, they considered sub-Saharan, why they was in Kemet? But you say sub-Saharan's not in Kemet, but aren't they sub-Saharans? So we have issues, man. Right?
And that's nothing to have some of our folks, you know, in the high standards of academia. So they can do the battle there as well, you know. Sheikh Diop, many might know him as a historian, but he was a scientist as well.
Yeah.
Cheikh Anta Diop asked for samples of mummies. And if I remember correctly, if my memory doesn't fail me, I think it was 1 millimeter square. Now, in America, you don't really use millimeters and centimeters, but you're using inches and yards and stuff like that. But a millimeter is like that small. A centimeter will be like that small. So 1 millimeter square from a mummy in order to determine the level of melanin. And if the level of melanin is high enough,
right,
then we can scientifically determine that this is a Negroid person or Negro person in an etymological sense of the meaning. That was refused because they knew that he was a scientist and he would be able to work out the melanin level. You see, they did not grant him this 1 millimeter square piece of some mummy or skin. So that was just for your information. There's a lot to learn, and if we have the right method, if we are honest, sincere, not disingenuous, we can get some clarity. We can definitely get some clarity. Now, James Powell wrote, Netanem, I've enjoyed you from the time that I've heard about you. You, Shaka, keep doing what you're doing. Thank you. Appreciate that. Well, brothers, it's been lovely. It's been 3 hours. And I'm sure our brother Netanel will continue with learning, and we can always learn. Some of you young brothers and sisters might be looking, and maybe some of the things you heard went over your head. But remember one thing, I was just like you. I was just like you. I was hearing all these terms.
Mm-hmm.
I was hearing cataract. I was hearing Upper Egypt, Lower Egypt, Lower Egypt. Like, why do they have two terms for the same place?
Right.
And then you start hearing a few Medu Neter words, and but it's not rocket science, It's not rocket science. And if you associate yourself with people that have credential or good methodology, you will save a lot of time. Because when you have people who come with some hypotheses and they don't have even scholars that agree with them against the whole consensus in the whole world, not just America or some places in Europe, but the whole world. I mean, you end up, wasting your time, and in some cases also wasting your money. The consensus is there's no absolute consensus. You always have some people who will not necessarily agree, but when you have a field, when you have an academic field, and you have a consensus, the majority of the people of the field, then you might as well go for it. And if people say, well, you're referring to authority or you're appealing to authority, don't worry about that. I don't have a problem if people tell me that. I'd rather go with the consensus. If I'm sick, I would go and listen to what the doctor says. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going to say, well, doctor, actually, I read some books about medicine and my opinion matters as much as yours. Well, why did you come to see the doctor? The doctor might say, why did you come to see me then? Since you know the cure, you know the remedy. You know what I'm saying? And amazingly, when it's medicine, we don't do that. But when it's history and linguistics, all of a sudden, we want to kick it.
Yeah.
We want to refute the experts, But when we're sick,
that's a good point.
So it's just an analogy. Leonard, thank you very much for stopping by and sharing this information with us.
You're welcome.
And I really hope that out of this, people will understand there's no beef, and maybe some people might feel like, well, but you're using the term pseudo, you're using the term fake linguist. I could have used worse, you know what I'm saying?
No, well, you can. It's legal. It's legal.
Yeah, there you go.
You can, you have a right. You can, it's legal. His work was peer reviewed, true or false? I'm asking you, was his work peer reviewed?
Not to my knowledge.
You said not to your knowledge?
Simon Hotep's work?
Yeah, his work wasn't peer reviewed.
He was, or he wasn't?
He was. He was rejected in a peer review. You didn't know?
Well, I thought he was rejected. Like he wanted his work to be acknowledged, and they just rejected it outright. I thought that's what happened.
No, I'm saying that he was rejected in Wikipedia's peer review.
Okay, well, that's Wikipedia. It's not even a journal, you know.
It don't matter. They have a all right. See, I can see you need let me give you some knowledge here, brother. We all learning. You said that. So learn here. Learn
I'm
just
not,
learn
I'm,
a little bit.
I'm not up on game on this.
All right, I'm gonna tell you, a peer review is from anybody that's an expert that is in the field of study. So say if you're making a linguistic argument and you don't want to submit to a journal, but you want to submit your article to a Wikipedia, it's not the same. It's not exactly the same, but it's still a peer review.
Because it's an expert, it's a specialist in the field.
Yes.
All right,
You have to be. You think any pseudo can go on Wikipedia? No, they go do a peer review on Wikipedia. You can't get through. They are hard, just like Ghana Journal Linguistics are hard to get through. They are peer reviewers. These guys are experts. So when it came to his work, I showed it. I showed his work. You want me to show it? The peer review?
Oh, you showed it already. It's okay. We'll have it.
Yeah, you said no. Like he ain't go through a peer review.
Because you corrected me on this. I thought it was like supposed to be like in a journal, but I understand what you explained to me now.
No, he wouldn't even play with a journal. You know he ain't. Come on, Shaka. You think they go? You think he's going to submit that Kemet is a riparian land for the Cajun peppers in a journal? Come on. He had to try Wikipedia first, and then they did a peer review. They got an expert. When they got the expert, he was rejected. And I'm asking you, what did they consider? Did they class his work as C class?
C class.
C class. What is C class? What is C class? Pseudo. That's what it means to them. They grade it on classes. C class is pseudo work that is non-scientific. That's what that means. His work was considered what? Pseudo-scientific content.
All right. Well, you know, if I feel like in a good mood and I want to be extra diplomatic,
man, we gotta stop. We gotta stop.
I might say non-scientific.
We're trying to be all nice and politically correct for these folks out here, but I don't care, man. I'm gonna tell you like that. This is why I don't care, because I spent my money in Medu Neter courses. You understand? I spent my hard-earned money there. I could have been in a job making money, but I am in this field spending money to get educated. So I take it seriously. I am submitting my work to scientific publications, getting rejected at times, going through hard stuff, going through no money, being hungry, doing this hard scientific work. But this guy get to say what he want without a peer review. Oh no, I'm not gonna. I stopped being politically correct for this clown YouTube stuff. I don't care about this. How you feel, man? If his work is considered pseudo-scientific, then that's what it is. It's time to stop. We're looking at things, and when we're looking at things, we are trying to perform magical stuff to be nice. It's not nice. I don't have a personal problem with this guy. I don't know this guy, man. His personal is not my issue.
It's true.
When I look at a peer review and it mentions his name, it says pseudo-scientific content. Then that's what the hell it is.
That settles it. But that was really for the people, you know, because sometimes some people happen to come on a platform and they're not really familiar with the channel, so they might presume that there's some particular hate or jealousy. So I just want to let them know.
Who cares?
Yeah,
I don't care if they think that. They can think what they want to think.
And I understand. But that's just you know, so it's stated for the record, you know, non-scientific or pseudo. That's what it is. That's what it was labeled as when an attempt was meant for a work to be accepted by some peer, you know. And but you had the body, you had the corpus, you had the texts, you have the references. I mean, it's nothing new. People were aware for a very long time what chem stands for, and also what
since 1977.
Yeah, there you have it. So, you know, you can choose to go the pseudo route, or you can choose to go the scientific route, and probably the scientific route will be best not just for Black people but for all people on the planet Earth. That's how we progress. That's how we move forward. You know, because when it comes once again to medicine, you know, People will probably not, try to be pseudo with it, So thanks again, Brother Neb. Brothers and sisters, I will put an end to this live stream. Before I put the outro, I would say, well, actually, remember you have the Cash App on the screen. Okay, so as I read it, $CW10021. That's Netherlands Cash App.
Yes,
And you
the
said
Cash App is going to come up as Michelle Williams. All right, what is it? Or Rowena, and just send it. That's me.
Mm-hmm.
She represents me. She supports everything that I do. Right? She is a good person to even confide in. Art, a professor, not a professor, but a professional with art skills. Send that money. Y'all see I did that work? Send that money. That's me. That's me. Or you can send it to Per Neter, my PayPal, or you can send it to Cash App. Either way, I get it. That person you're sending it to is a trusted. Trust me, trusted in this work as well too. So
might be the sister that was with you on the picture that I've taken, the one that's at the teaching level of Medu Neter, that does art as well.
No. That
okay.
is that's a student that was a Dr. Ricchetti Amen student.
All right.
And we went to see Hebrew Kanu that day.
And you said you use PayPal as well?
I use PayPal as well. Some people don't like Cash App. They don't like to use Cash App. So they let me see. They like to use like PayPal and stuff like that. But my PayPal, my Per Neter Linguistics at gmail.com. Per Neter Linguistics at gmail.com is my PayPal. So I just want to
you've put it in the private chat. Hold on. I'm gonna put it for the people. I want to shoot you a few dollars. Let me put Neb PayPal. Neb.
It could be my Cash App. That is even better than my PayPal because I get it. PayPal takes out money.
Yeah, they take a commission. So
all right, they takes out their cut. So sometimes people don't like PayPal because you got to take out even a cent. So PayPal, that's why I always do PayPal. Cash App is excellent. Here, this is someone who is part of the movement, so you can send it to her. So she's good.
Oh. It should be, it is sent now. So if you check your email, send just a little something. And brothers and sisters, remember, even if you don't send a lot, even if you just send $1, if there's enough of us that do that, it will help, because in the past I've said, unfortunately, I have people who will not even donate $1 a month. I work full time. I'd rather not work full time. So even if it's not $1 a month, at least once in a lifetime, think about the brothers and sisters that said some things that you appreciated, and you might as well, once in a lifetime, I will shoot a couple of dollars, $1, $2, $5, whatever amount suits you, But even if it's $1, don't feel, that amount is so small, I don't want him or her to feel some type of way.
But brother, what you're explaining is what's the difference between our scientific advancement between theirs. That's the difference. See, theirs, they put money into theirs. That's why they can make hypersonic missiles. See that? We don't put money into our geniuses. See, I don't even have to ask for donations because I'm gonna get it from a European. A European is gonna see me and see my work as valuable, and they're gonna donate regardless. It could be African people from Africa who have given me a shot more so than my own people in America, man. So I don't ask
these people, and I don't understand them, but I have received the most help in my career for a fact from Africans from Africa. Dr. Obadeli Cambone, Brother Quadwo, brothers in Abibi Timi, than my own people in America who tried to talk bad about me, say all type of stuff about me, my own kind. I have Europeans who did more for me than my own kind and still is. So, you know, I'm just saying the difference between why their science is up here and we are down here is our priority. Our priority is not to get science. It's to look slick with Nikes to give them all our money. Our money is not to produce nonprofit organizations that can gather science so they can feed their family. Scientists so we won't get evicted. Scientists, so they take care of their scientists. That's why they are ruling you. And that's why they have missiles that are hypersonic going past Mach 5. See? So they take their scientists serious. We ain't no begging. I can care less what you do. I'm just telling you that being that what you're not doing is why the differences of science. Greenberg, in his era, in the 60s, received $5 million in the 60s to do this dubious African classification. 6 million. They take care of their scientists. We don't. Look at Dr. Ben and how he passed. Look at his funeral. He was at a church. After all that knowledge he spit. So we do not take care. We kill our scholars, kill our scientists over here in America. We don't value them. So, you know, I understand what you're saying to them, but Netanyahu is not here to bag these punks.
No, understand. And you said the key word, value. They put value in their scientists. They put value in their history. We probably don't put as much value in our culture, our story, our languages as we should, you know, and that could change. And probably with clarity, it might change, because sometimes I feel like some people that we label pseudos don't realize the harm, or let's say the time that they are making our people lose, you see. And so, like Brother Netanyahu said, it's no personal beef. It's about the information. This information, I don't agree with it. Here's why. I don't accept it. Here's why. Simple as that. So I will really end it this time. Thank you once again, Brother Netanyahu. You know how to reach to the brother. You know how to support the brother as well. So stay safe, stay healthy, and if I am allowed to buy the Neteru, I will definitely holler back at you. And as a matter of fact, you know, the ID just came now. We've been talking about languages, so I will say a few things in French, then a few things in Haitian Creole. So, pour les frères et sœurs qui écoutent, on a le frère Netanyahu qui étudie l'analyse linguistique, comme d'autres l'ont fait. Et si vous voulez le soutenir, vous avez les informations. Et le Medu Neter, le Medu Neter, l'égyptien ancien, c'est accessible. Vous pouvez l'apprendre. Il y a des gens qui enseignent, moi notamment. Et j'espère que vous n'allez pas vous laisser entraîner dans des théories farfelues, des hypothèses farfelues, parce que tout comme il y en a dans le monde francophone, il y en a aussi dans le monde anglophone. Et aujourd'hui, on a parlé de ça. Donc, il faut être scientifique, la science. And for the Asian crew, I will be quite brief. Qui j'en y est, people, I'm mixing the English. Qui j'en y est, donc, mon voulait dire, mon qu'on n'aime pas l'école, non parler français, mon qui comprendre, parce que il y a un peu de monde qui parle l'école, mais il y a comprendre ça, monde qui parle français aussi, mais si pas de qu'on n'est pas au moins il fait Haïti. Et j'ai été en Angleterre, c'est pour ça qu'on parle anglais comme ça, et puis me fait la France, c'est pour ça qu'on parle français. Mais moi, je pense qu'il y a quelqu'un en Haïti qui apprend histoire, linguistique, et puis m'espérer qu'à progresser ou qu'à aller loin. Je suis content si je vois plus people qui sortent, plus moun qui sortent Haïti, qui ont intérêt pour l'histoire noire, l'histoire africaine, parce que c'est ça nous y est. There it is. So stay safe, stay healthy, and if I'm allowed to, Brother Neter, I will definitely holler back at you. Hotel. Now, for the record, for those who don't know, I'm giving Medu Neter classes. And here, that's the flyer. Okay? So, those who are interested, feel free to holler at me. If you're not interested, it's cool. But I recommend that everybody who has not yet seen the video, Kemet and Ma'at, Before Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, then watch it. It has about 300,000 views and really deserves to have a lot more.
I just want to let everyone know who's listening in now and who's going to listen to this stream in the future. I just had my first Medu Neter class by Brother Shaka today, and I've had other Medu Neter lessons by other teachers, and I can tell you right now, the brother is the best in the game. He is that was one of the best classes I've ever had ever. So if you're interested in learning the Medu Neter, if you're interested in getting the basics of it, Brother Shaka is an awesome teacher. Get with him, and it's extremely affordable. This brother is giving us his time and his skills, and he's basically giving it away. I mean, I just consider it a donation. You know what I'm saying? So if anybody's interested in learning the Medu Neter, get with this brother right here. He's an awesome, awesome, awesome teacher. And I'll end with that.
Hotep Senu, Hena Senut. This is Julie, also known as Servant of Yah, and I'm currently taking the Medu Neter classes with Brother Shaka, and it has been an amazing experience. Only 2 lessons so far, and I feel like I've been taking the classes for months, just with the how in depth he goes into the vocabulary words, the construction of the language, the grammar. It's been immeasurable, the experience. And one thing that comes across, hands down, is his extreme passion for teaching this to anyone who is willing to learn and has an interest in learning. So I highly suggest, if you are interested, even a minimal interest, that you subscribe to the classes with Brother Shaka. It's such a nominal amount for how much you get. I know, like, our last class was over 2.5 hours. It felt like 2 minutes, but because that's how, involved you are in what he's teaching and how he teaches and how compassionate he is about what he teaches. Also with sharing materials free of charge, no question, no doubt. It's just what he does. He doesn't have to, but he does. And so I just wanted to give a short testimonial about the class and the effectiveness of the class. And all of that is attested to how studied Brother Shaka is. So I highly recommend anyone with a minimal interest that you do sign up for the Medu Neter class. Hotep.
Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, which is Ma'at Forever. Don't forget to watch the video entitled Kemet and Ma'at. Don't forget to share Kemet and Ma'at on my channel on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, or other social media that you use. Email, text messages, you name it. Those who wish to donate can do so on paypal.me/Ma'at Forever.